This week's episode of I Was a Teenage Film Snob is not brought to you by Hallows or Horcruxes. Welcome to I Was a Teenage Film Snob. I'm James Chalmers, your friendly neighborhood film snob. And this week, everyone, the magic continues. A couple of weeks ago, we did part one of our History of Magic series. We dove into the world of Harry Potter, the first four movies, and I promised you a part two, and we're going to do that tonight. So, of course, there could only be one guest returning. It's my wife. It's Tina. She's back. Welcome to the show, Tina.
Hello. A magical hello.
A magical hello. Hello, Hamora.
Brilliant.
I'm just going to end the show there. It's not going to get funnier than that.
No, it's not going to get better than that. We've reached the peak.
So, welcome back to the show.
Yep.
Episode 70 this week.
Yep.
That's a bit of a record because I don't know if you know this, but no other podcast I've done before this has gotten past episode 70.
Oh, wow.
So, it's all going to end next week, except it's not because I've already recorded episode 71. So, This is now the longest running podcast I've ever done.
Well done.
Thank you. All I had to do was talk.
Yeah.
How are you?
Oh, we just had a conversation about how today was a really stressful day.
It was a less than magic. It was a real muggle of a day.
Yeah, it was. It was a real muggle of a day.
All right, well, that's no good. Are you excited to come back and talk more Harry Potter?
I am. I do love talking Harry Potter, so I'm excited.
And, of course, we talked about this last time, but for those who missed part one, go back and check out part one. You'll hear us get very honest about these movies. There's a real love for these films and these books. And because we love them so much, we get very honest about the things we don't love so much.
Because we love them so much, we hate them.
Yeah. We will also not be diving into the world of Fantastic Beasts. This deep dive is on the Harry Potter films only. A, because Fantastic Beasts is still incomplete. And B...
Was it? Sorry, you go.
And B, I don't really want to watch those movies again right now. They're fine.
Was there something in the news about, they weren't going to do any more Fantastic Beasts? Or I thought I saw an article that was saying they're distancing themselves, Warner Brothers is distancing themselves from J.K. Rowling, or she's no longer writing for it, or they're no longer going to do 5 of them or something like that.
I'm not sure. I
didn't actually read the article.
I know that
Fantastic Beasts.
I know that about 12 months ago there was some concerns around it because of all the Ezra Miller stuff.
Yeah.
So without getting too into it, Ezra Miller had some erratic behavior and they were quite unwell and had been doing some things. They were in trouble with the law and things like that. And Warner Brothers, I think, were considering severing ties with Ezra Miller. But thankfully, what's been really positive is Ezra Miller has been able to get some help and get some support and seems to be doing a lot better.
Oh, that's good.
And unfortunately, that Flash movie wasn't the most successful film that Warner Brothers has done. Although it is good. I really enjoyed it. You haven't seen it yet, but we'll watch it soon. And Ezra Miller's great in it. But so I know there were some concerns around Fantastic Beasts because of that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether... I know J.K. Rowling's been saying some wacky stuff for the last couple of years, but historically speaking, whilst it might not be true, it doesn't matter how wacky you are. If you cash green checks and you make the studio money, they'll forgive a lot. And J.K. Rowling has certainly brought a lot of money in for Warner Brothers. But I don't need any more Fantastic Beasts films. But at the same time, I guess I need to see how this ends. But I also don't really know what's going on in them either.
Yeah, no, I don't really know.
I can't really tell you, anyway, that's a long way of us saying we're not going to talk about those movies tonight. Before we jump into the movies, what have you been watching? You've been watching... I know last time... Normally when you're on the show, you're like, I don't watch anything. But I know you've been watching stuff this time. So what have you been watching?
Well, we just finished Loki.
We did. So we may spoil it for a second. So if you haven't seen Loki Season 2 finale, tune out for a couple of minutes. But yes, we finished Loki, and it was excellent.
Yes. I was confused. I got 90% of it, I think. I think it would have been beneficial if I went back and watched season 1 again, but I don't have time to do that. That's the problem.
Well, I remember watching season 1 and everyone's like, oh my goodness, what a brilliant show. season 1 of Loki came out the same year as WandaVision, and that was the year with like all the TV shows. So we had WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, What If, Hawkeye, which Hawkeye surprisingly was one of the best shows that came out that year. So for me, like with everything that came out the year, Loki just kind of got lost in it all. I felt like I didn't really understand why the show existed, so I was like, oh, it's fine. Like I like seeing them, but it didn't do much for me. Season 2 of Loki, I loved.
Yeah.
I thought it felt like it had more purpose, no pun intended. It felt more like it had a more set agenda. I feel like we knew who everyone was, and also bringing Ke Kwan in to play OB, I thought was a stroke of genius. I think he was wonderful. But I loved season 2 of Loki.
Just thinking about it now, it really felt like a Loki movie, just in TV form.
Well, that's the way the shows were designed to be. Like, and I think some of them have worked, with the exception of What If. What If was always meant to be kind of self-contained stories. I think Falcon the Winter Soldier did it quite well. Like that felt quite like a 6-part movie. I think the longer series, it's harder to kind of keep track. So like WandaVision felt cinematic, but also was meant to be each episode was a different TV style and things like that. But this one definitely felt like it flowed a lot better than some of the other shows. I really enjoyed it. And I loved the way it ended. And we were talking about it in the car before. I was like, if they don't do anything else with this TV show, if they're like, hey, we're done, I'm okay with that. Like,
it ended really neatly.
Yeah. I do hope we get more Loki in the MCU, and I'm sure people are like, really? Like, he's been around since like the 3rd movie. Or the 4th movie. I think Thor was the 4th movie that came out. But I don't know. Like, Tom Hiddleston's great. That character's really good. The character development this season in particular was really wonderful. I feel like he's going to show up in Secret Wars or Kang Dynasty at some point as someone who has enough experience with time travel now to be able to help the Avengers.
Yeah, that's right.
And I was saying to you before, I'm like, it'd be really cool if after all this time, after everything that's happened, we should see Loki fighting on the side of good with his brother as opposed to being an antagonist for Thor.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool, I think. Have you been watching anything else?
Yeah, we were watching, what is it, Gordon Ramsay, Gino.
Gordon, Gino, and Fred's Road Trip.
Yeah.
It's really good.
It's really funny.
I actually messaged friend of the show, Nick Owen, this afternoon, and I was saying, if you haven't watched it, because he's a huge Gordon Ramsay fan as well, and I guess we should provide a bit of backstory. We love the Gordon Ramsay stuff, particularly Hotel Hell and Kitchen Nightmares. Not so much the competition stuff like Hell's Kitchen stuff. I don't really go for, but the one where he goes and fixes up like people who have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah.
But this one is him and a couple of Gino. Is it Gino DeCampo? Is that his name?
I think so.
He's a chef from the UK as well. He's an Italian chef, and then Fred Sirix is like a French maitre d'.
Yeah, I believe he's on. Believe he's the maitre d' for like First Dates.
I'm sure he's done things with more clout than that, but like that's where we know him from.
Yeah.
But the three of them go on a road trip across America, like trying different food and just like messing with each other.
Yeah.
And some of it certainly does feel staged, but like their chemistry is so good, and like just the way they make fun of each other is really entertaining.
It's good.
Gino DeCampo, I think, has gotten a lot of fame online recently because a lot of his like clips on Good Morning or whatever have shown up. And like,
if my grandmother had wheels, she'd be a bike.
Yeah. So that's a really good one. And I like Ramsay. That's funny. Like, I know that in those other shows, like people kind of say he comes off as a bit of a hothead, a bit of a macho man. But it's funny, like, watching him trying to be, like, macho around the other chefs. Like, there's always this competition, like, who's the most macho of the three of them.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't expecting. But I enjoy it, yeah. The last episode we watched, they went skinny dipping and there was a white dolphin, which was very funny. You'll have to watch the show for that. Is that what you've been watching?
I think so.
I guess we've been watching Bake Off, we've been watching Taskmaster.
Yeah.
I feel like I saw you watching something else. Did we talk about Beckham last time, didn't we?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. What about you? What have you been watching?
So much stuff. I have taken a break from movies a little bit. Not non-stop, but like I'd hit like 320 something movies for the year about a week or so ago. I was like, you know what? Time to catch up on some TV. So I knocked out season 4 of Harley Quinn, which was excellent. That show remains to be consistently wonderful. I finished watching Secret Invasion. The second half was better than the first half for me. I know the second half of this season has lower rated episodes, but that was when it felt more like a Marvel thing, when there's more, because the first 3 episodes I think you and I felt were quite slow.
Yeah.
With all that espionage stuff, but there wasn't a lot of excitement going on. The second half, we see like a lot more scrolls, we see superpowers, we see stuff like that. I was like, oh, cool, this is what I was, this is what I wanted. So I enjoyed that. I finished watching What else did I watch? Season 7 of The Flash, which was I meant to tell you about I meant to tell you about it. It was mostly good. Like I have like we haven't watched The Flash together in a while. I think the last one we watched together was season 6, where they introduced the concept of doing 2 villains per season. So you have like a part season, like first part of the season is one villain, second part of the season is another villain.
Yeah.
And with this, they it was the same thing. So the first part of the season was fine. Like the Speed Force was the villain, which
okay.
Yeah, and like the Speed Force was personified as his mother, which I think you'd seen before.
Yeah.
And then there were these other forces as well, like which is straight from the comics. Like there's the Strength Force and the Sage Force, and
Sage Force,
which is like psychic ability.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and was it like Slow Force or something? It was like the opposite of the Speed Force. So that's straight from the comics. It was fine, but it was a bit silly. And the second half was Godspeed. So I think you've seen Godspeed before, but it was an army of Godspeeds. There were like 6 of them, and there was this Godspeed civil war where they were all fighting each other because they wanted to be the fastest Godspeed. It sounds silly and overcomplicated, but it was quite cool. I liked it. And I meant to tell you, like the season finale, I was really digging it up until like the last 10 minutes, because the last 10 minutes, like Barry was like, "Oh, we should renew our vows and have another wedding ceremony because your last wedding was ruined by one of those crossover events."
Oh,
so
no.
do this other wedding.
Yeah.
And like, I really like the girl who plays Iris. I think she's a good actress, but she gets terrible dialogue. And like her thing is like, people say that I meant to say this. Like, she's like, people say that a relationship or romance is a friendship that caught fires. I thought it was, caught fire. She's like, but ours was struck by lightning. And I was like, ugh. And then he calls her his lightning rod again. I mean, the fact that they didn't say, like, we are Flash, I'm so glad they didn't.
I thought you were going to say that, like, they had the ceremony again and then, oh, no, bad guy came, ruined it again.
No. But like, there's some cool stuff. Like they brought back Nora. Remember, like their daughter. Like she came back, and that was really cool. Like, and she was way more tolerable. Like I know in season 5 when she showed up, she was very like, "I'm the teen daughter. I'm gonna say shway and stuff like."
Yeah.
And I was like, "All right, like we get it."
God, Mum, that's totally shway. It's totally not shway.
Yeah, but she was a little bit more like, because when she came back, it turns out they have a son as well. So Bart Allen, who's from the comics also.
Yeah.
So he showed up. So now that she's the older sister, she has to be a bit more mature. And I thought their dynamic was really good. I thought the kid who played the son was really fun and enthusiastic. And I thought, I can't remember the actress's name who plays Nora, but I really enjoyed her performance this time around as well. So I watched that, and I just started watching The Last of Us last night. So I'm one episode into The Last of Us, and it's heartbreaking. But I knew it would be. Like, there's a reason why I didn't want to watch the show with you. I knew you wouldn't anyway because it's zombies, and you're not really big on zombies. But there's like without going into too much detail and making this very dark episode, the whole point of the game and the story, which the TV show is based on, is it's a father and daughter story, but like it's it's a surrogate father daughter story. Like, and the reason they put together is because she has no parents and he loses his family before the infection. So, and like, it's heartbreaking in the game. They really milked it in the show. Like, it was devastating, but brilliant. So that's what I've been watching, aside from like millions of other movies.
Yeah, that's right.
We should talk some Potter.
We probably should.
So where we left off, we talked about Goblet of Fire. Did we talk about how Goblet of Fire is our least favorite of the?
I'm pretty sure we would have mentioned it.
They're like 20 times. Just talk about the next one. All right. So next up is Order of the Phoenix, and now the last 4 films of the franchise are all directed by David Yates.
Yes.
And I would say this is where the franchise, whilst I think 1 and 2 are the most accurate, and probably like in terms of like honoring the book and the world being probably my favorite, these are the most consistent for me. Like, yes, they have to cut material out now because the books are getting bigger, but I think tonally, visually, like stylistically, the next 4, they're all very consistent. They feel like they're part of the same franchise.
Yeah.
Where I would say the first 4
feel very different.
Yeah, like 1 and 2 feel similar, and then 3 is like what happened here, and 4 is like really what happened here. Like, and then 5, like, there's obviously a lot cut out from it, but we're kind of trying to get onto one consistent track, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
So last time we talked about films, we talked about new characters. So number 5 introduces Professor Umbridge.
Yes.
Imelda Staunton.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the standout performance in the movie.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, she's really good.
By far.
She's probably my least favorite character, and not because she's poorly written, but because she is so despicable.
Yeah.
Like, she's just like, it's not even like I don't hate Voldemort. I should, because like, he's the worst.
Me and Mum were having this conversation the other day because Harry Potter's playing on TV. And like, she'll always tune in and she watches it. She's never read the books. But she'll be like, oh, you know, the one with the pink lady, she's such a bitch. And she'll be like, you know, she's so evil. She could be worse than Voldemort. I'm like, yeah, a lot of people in the Potter universe consider her to be worse than Voldemort.
Because, like, yeah, I don't know what it's. We'll get into it.
Yeah.
Who else? Are we introduced any other major characters in book 5?
We get Grawp.
We get Grawp, yes.
Yeah, we get Grawp. We not really a character, but we get introduced to the Ministry of Magic.
Yeah.
And the whole like
Department of Mysteries
and going to the Ministry of Magic.
We get a lot more Bellatrix.
Oh, we get Luna.
Luna's introduced.
Yep.
Played by what's her name again?
Evanna Lynch.
Fantastic, and her story is really unique because she was a fan of the books, and didn't she write a letter?
Yeah.
And she wanted to. This is J.K. Rowling saying she wanted to play Luna Lovegood. And whilst Bellatrix was introduced in the previous movie, I would say this is where we really get to see Bellatrix. Like, we see a lot more of who she is, and like, obviously she gets some pretty evil moments.
Yeah.
So where do we start? We start with well, I guess, you know, is this the first movie we saw together? The first Harry Potter movie we watched together?
Oh, I don't know if it's the first one we saw together. I do specifically remember going to the cinemas and watching it because this is my favorite book.
Yeah.
Order of the Phoenix is my favorite book. And I still don't know how I feel about this movie because it is my favorite book. I automatically go, yeah, it's my favorite movie. But I don't know if it is. I think Chamber of Secrets is my favorite. Yeah, I think
Chamber of Secrets is my favorite. I think we talked about this last time. Chamber of Secrets, like, is so good.
Yeah, like, it's so good.
Like, it misses a couple of things, but it takes, like, the first one, you know, it's introduced to the world. It's quite light, and yes, there's some dark moments, but it's, you know, very happy. And like, Chamber of Secrets is a darker story, and it embraces that tone really well in the movie without going overboard.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, 3 and 4, like, they're so much funnier than a lot of the previous movies. The tones, I think, are a little bit off with 3 and 4. Okay, so you don't know how you feel about the movie.
Yeah, because I don't really particularly enjoy the David Yates desaturation.
Yep.
I think Order of the Phoenix doesn't do it heaps, but I think Half-Blood Prince does it too much. There is no colour in that film.
I would say, and we'll definitely talk more about Half-Blood Prince shortly, I would say that after Goblet of Fire, Half-Blood Prince might be my least favourite adaptation. And that's because Half-Blood Prince is my favourite book.
Yeah.
And there's a lot missing. Like, there's a lot there's a lot to cover in Half-Blood Prince, but it's, they don't really get into it too much in the movie, unfortunately. There's some really cool set pieces and lots of cool things in there. And there's a lot to love about it, but they miss a lot of things as well.
But in terms of Order of the Phoenix, we've had this conversation before. I love that opening scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, that opening scene.
The Dudley Harry stuff.
Yeah. That's really good. And like when they're running through to get away from the thunderstorm and everything, so they're running through that grass and everything.
And it's shot in a very action style. Like, you hear like the wheats, like.
That's right, exactly. Yeah, I really, really like that.
The sound editing's really good.
And I love all the Ministry of Magic stuff. I think it's very well done.
We get one other character we get. Sorry to interrupt. Is Arabella Figg.
Oh yes.
Who is only in the movie for about 5 minutes. But like, steals every scene she's in. Like that scene where she's interrogated.
Yeah.
Like, it's so good.
Yeah.
I wish they'd
it would have been nice to see Arabella Figg in Philosopher's Stone so that it tied it back.
And that's what I would talk about last time, about how like things weren't necessarily planned out. Like, we'll cut these characters, won't matter. But she plays such a huge role in book 5. Well, at least at the start of book 5. And I wish they had included more of like that conversation where she's like, "I'm sorry I was so nasty to you, but like if you enjoyed it, they never will let you
Yeah.
come back."
Yeah.
Do they cover the fact that she's a squib in the movie? I can't
No.
remember. So yeah, there's another.
It's just that line of, "You know Dumbledore," and she's like, "Of course I know Dumbledore.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Dumbledore." But yeah, so I really enjoy all of the Ministry of Magic stuff. I think it's probably one of my favorite set pieces. I
Mm.
love that corridor with all the green tiles, and you got all the
Yeah.
fireplaces and stuff like that. I think they took it off the page really well.
Mhm.
Really, really well. That being said, if we flash forward to the Department of Mysteries section where they're trying to save Sirius and stuff like
Yeah.
that, I really wish we'd seen more rooms.
Yeah.
It would have been so good to see like the brain room.
Or the spinning room.
Yeah, all that sort of stuff. Like that was such a cool part of the book. Such a cool part of the book.
I will say this: when I've read Order of the Phoenix a few times, probably about 10 times. Not as much as the first few. The first few I've devoured, but when they got to the Department of Mysteries, like that was the part of the book that got the most confusing to me because there's a lot going on. I found it very hard to follow. Although I was a lot younger, so I should give it another read and see like if I can make more sense of it now.
Yeah.
But there's so many like visual, like I was like room of brains, like spinning. What are you talking about? And like I never understood the veil thing, which we'll talk more about, I'm sure.
Yeah.
In a moment. But I agree. I love the Ministry of Magic stuff. I really like. I don't know who the character is, and you might be able to help me here. She doesn't do anything necessarily special in, but I just like the way she, like just the way she plays the character. Is it Mafalda Hopkirk? Is she the one who's like, "What do you mean Dementors?" Like, there's that woman who's in the Wizarding. Is that Mafalda Hopkirk?
Yes, Mafalda Hopkirk is definitely the one in number 7, and Hermione becomes her when they go into the Ministry of Magic.
Oh, is that the same? I don't think that's the same person. There's another one in the Wizengamot, and I can't remember who it is. But she's like leading because there's like 3 people speaking who have make speaking roles. You've got Umbridge, you got Fudge, and then there's the other woman, and she's the one who votes to keep Harry from being expelled.
I think it's supposed to be the same character. I think because it's definitely Mafalda Hopkirk is Emma Watson's one that she uses the Polyjuice Potion on in number 7. Because Umbridge goes, "What are you doing, Mafalda?"
Yeah, that's right.
Like that. "No, you're coming with me." He sent you down, did he? And all that sort of stuff like that. I think she is also supposed to be that one. I think you're right.
I don't know what it is.
Because Mafalda Hopkirk is the voice of the letter.
Yes.
Because she sends the letter to Harry.
Yes.
For using the Patronus.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about her, but whenever she's on screen, I'm like, wow, I really like the way she's performing. I really like she's very engaging. So I like her. Love Dumbledore's, little interrogation. Brian.
Yeah. That's a little freak.
The late
Brian.
The late Michael Gambon, like so good. And I think we talked about this last time. It's in these Yates films where he really starts to inhabit who Dumbledore is supposed to be. Like,
yeah, I think so too.
So we have the we have the interrogation. What else do you like about the film? We get Creature.
Oh yeah, we get Creature, don't we? Yep. I really. What else do I like about the film? I don't know. I feel like Harry is.
He's angry all the time.
No, see, this is the thing. I feel like he actually isn't. Like, when he gets to Grimmauld Place, right? So he gets to First of all, why are they flying on the broomsticks through London?
I was about to bring that up. I was like,
you can see them all.
He gets in trouble for casting a spell in front of Muggles, and then all these wizards who should know better are flying on broomsticks just in front of the Westminster Abbey.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, I know visually it looks cool, but and it's a great place for collecting studs in that Lego game.
Yeah, it is. Houses of Parliament. Yeah, so and then he gets into Ron's room and he's like, you guys could have messaged me, I haven't had a scrap of news. And he's supposed to be really angry and he's literally just like, Well, I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, it feels like in the books.
And I just felt like it was a bit sort of like, I don't know, like maybe this is just me projecting, but I feel like because David Yates is such a quiet, soft spoken character
Mm.
person, it's kind of like he's like, okay,
Don't
Harry,
get too angry.
you know that's all right, just a little bit angry, don't be too angry.
Mm.
And Daniel Radcliffe's like, all right, sort of thing. Um, but yeah, so I kind of feel like Harry actually isn't as like he says that he's angry, but I don't really see much of it.
Mm.
I feel like there's a disconnect there in terms of what Harry's saying and how Daniel Radcliffe is actually portraying him.
Yeah.
I do love all of the uh legilimency.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um,
All the lessons with Snape and Harry, and we
yeah,
get the flashbacks.
yeah. I think that's really good. Um,
How
I'm
do
trying to
you
remember the middle of it.
how do you feel? So obviously, there's a certain point where Umbridge gets that power to kind of investigate
Yeah,
the school and stuff. How do you feel about all the interrogations? I feel like this film is laced with humor,
yeah, it is.
which is not a bad thing.
Mm,
But there's like I think it's very well balanced because you have Umbridge, who is this despicable character, and when you see her be cruel, like
yeah,
even in the movie, like it makes you like in the book, like oh my goodness, it really makes you angry. But in the movie, like my blood does boil. Like it's simply like oh my god, like shut this woman up. Like
yeah,
she's so coarse.
yeah,
But there are some really great moments. So when she's doing all the interrogations, like the great Alan Rickman, she's like, you applied for Defense Against the Dark
yes,
Arts, but you
yeah,
didn't get it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Obviously.
obviously.
I love when she's walking down the hall and the two kids are kissing and she like magics them apart and
Well,
stuff like
here's my
that.
question because they talk about like the whole, and again, like it talks about like the hypocrisy of Fudge and Umbridge because
Yeah,
they are both hypocrites. But like the whole time about like how the school has been run properly and the teachers aren't doing their jobs. Like, is a teacher allowed to use magic on students as much as Umbridge is using? Because she's like
yeah,
separating them, and, like tucking the shirts in,
yeah,
and it's played for laughs. But I've never heard anyone be like, "Is that okay?" Like, I
yeah.
don't think that's okay. Like, she's
Mm,
using magic. And like, if you went to school and you saw a teacher like tucking a boy's shirt in against his will, you'd be like,
yeah,
"Oh, that's a bit unusual."
yeah,
So she is quite handsy with the students. She just doesn't use her physical hands.
yeah. Um, I think Imelda Staunton's performance is amazing.
Yeah,
Like just that lightness, the way that everybody reacts to it, that whole scene where she's kicking out Trelawney.
maybe the best scene in the movie.
Yeah.
So heartbreaking.
So heartbreaking, but also so good.
Mm.
And then even Dumbledore's like put in his place
Yeah, for
and
now.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, like McGonagall, like that moment where she's like looking after Trelawney, and like they have that moment on the steps, and again, it's like I don't know how to describe it, but like they're competing with each other on the steps. Like Dolores
Yeah.
takes a step up, and then
Yeah.
McGonagall takes a step
And then
step up
McGonagall takes a step down.
because she's like, "What do you think of us? Like, what do you
Yeah,
think of me? What do you
yeah.
think of us?" So like, she's like that defeat in her voice. Maggie Smith, like brilliant as
Yeah.
always.
Yeah.
One thing also I want to talk about is the music. Like, particularly this movie, I would say, obviously you got Hedwig's theme, which is consistent
Yeah.
throughout the films. I would say, aside from that theme, which shows up in all of them, the two movies with the most iconic music are Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yeah.
And whilst I have my feelings on Prisoner of Azkaban, like the music is wonderful.
Yeah.
Like, you've got that harpsichord.
Bum, 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 ba-da-dum.
Obviously you've got the trumpets from Goblet of Fire.
Yeah.
But I would say the most iconic music for me is from Goblet of Fire, like the
Order of the Phoenix, you mean?
Order of the Phoenix. You got Umbridge's theme. Yeah, like that's the music I think of. Like it's so unique to that story,
Yeah.
and like whenever it's interesting because it's used for two separate moods of the film, but it works so well. The first is when like Umbridge is scheming and taking over, and has this almost dark feeling to it. But it's also used when Dumbledore's army is trying to get away from Umbridge.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's used more positively. Speaking of which, we haven't touched on Dumbledore's army.
Yeah, that's right.
How do you feel about that? Because in the book, obviously, it's a bit more convoluted. There's a lot. I mean, not in a negative way. But there's a lot more going on. We've got extra characters. We've got the coins with the curses on them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about the Dumbledore's army stuff in this movie?
I pictured it all a little bit differently.
Mhm.
I pictured like the Room of Requirement to be a bit more, I don't know, in keeping with Hogwarts theme. Like you go into the Room of Requirement for Dumbledore's army, it's all like these, it's all blue. It's all
Yeah.
blue and grey, and you got these mirrors and stuff like that. And just like in my head, I always pictured it because obviously in the book it's described like this. So it's like pictured as a wood panelled room and
Yeah.
like, bookcases, and there's a section where it's all these cushions where you can practice falling on.
I was going to say, I always think of the cushions, like, because Ron constantly is falling on cushions.
Yeah. And it just would have been nice to have bits and pieces like, Dobby coming in to put up the decorations and they all had Harry's face on them. And so
I forgot about that.
He has to come in and take them all down before everybody gets there.
Another glaring omission. I talked about her in the last episode. I'm talking about again. Winky, nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, no Winky.
Because Winky, because that's the thing. Like in this book, like in Order of the Phoenix, Winky comes to work at Hogwarts with Dobby. Is she working at Hogwarts in 4?
Ooh,
no, because she's still with. Because she gets
yeah.
There's a whole Barty Crouch storyline, but in 5 she comes to work at Hogwarts and she's disgraced, or like she feels it, and she is an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Like she drinks butterbeer, but like butterbeer is strong for a house elf.
Yeah.
And there's this whole like thing about how she's an alcoholic and like, which is weird for a kid's book, but also I really liked seeing it. And is 5 also spew, or is 4 spew?
I thought 4 was.
It's been a while since I've read the books, but spew is nowhere to be seen.
But 5 is there is definitely spew in 5.
Yeah.
But I can't remember if it started in 5 or if it started in 4. Because I know that's the thing. Like, they obviously go to the kitchens and Hermione, like, cracks it because she realizes that Hogwarts is run by house elves. And so then she, takes matters into her own hands, basically.
The Society for Protection of Elfish Welfare, yeah.
And that's, like, another thing that's really frustrating that would have been so good to include, because I think that's really been a sticking point for a lot of fans to be like, well, hang on a second, that's a really major part of the plot line and the storyline.
Huge part of it. And also, again, I think the way they handle Dobby in the 7th movie is done quite well, but in the book,
had they laid the groundwork,
like if you had seen him reoccurring in multiple movies, you would have felt even more. Like that's why, and spoilers, like Sirius Black dies in this movie, dies in the book. We spend almost no time with Sirius in movie 3, pretty much no time with Sirius. Does Gary Oldman even show up physically in 4? He doesn't, does he? He's just a face in bricks.
Yeah.
So we get no time with him there either, and then suddenly we get a couple of scenes with him. So like when he dies, like there's no emotional connection there for me. Because I'm like, in the books, I loved Sirius, but in the movies, I've had no time with him. Like, I've seen him as like a skinny, like possible criminal because we don't really,
that's right,
for sure. And then I've seen him as a face in the fire in the 4th movie, and then suddenly, like now, we get a bit more contact.
Well, that's the whole same concept with you have Alistair Moody in number 4, and he's not actually Alistair Moody. And then, like when Harry gets rescued at the start of Order of the Phoenix by Moody, like that's the first time he's seen Moody since he's been transformed from Barty Crouch Jr.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you be like, holy shit, it's Barty Crouch Jr.?
Say it right.
Yeah, sorry.
Say it right. We also have in this movie
Tonks. Tonks is another new character.
Tonks is new. Tonks is again like, doesn't she just do like turn to a duck or something? Like, is that the hope?
Yeah, she's only like there at the start, really.
Like Tonks isn't. I might get some like hate for this, depending on the Potter fans. I don't think Tonks is an overly great character.
No, see, this is the thing. I think she's a good character in the books. I think she wasn't played very well.
Well, is it that she wasn't paid well? She just didn't get enough screen time or anything to do. It's like,
No, I never see even in number 7, I didn't really like number 8.
but
Sorry,
she only gets to like 5 minutes in that as well.
I
Like,
know, but I just like. Well, I mean, okay, Mafalda Hopkirk.
that's a good point.
Mafalda
Good point.
Hopkirk. Do you know what I mean?
She jumped out at me.
So it doesn't matter how much
in defense of Mafalda, she has some pretty great dialogue. Tonks is like, "Watch me," like, and then just changes it. Like,
I don't know. Like, I just thought she's really cool in the books, and I just felt she was a little bit forced in the movies.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. We also get the introduction to Weasley Wizard Wheezers.
Yes, we do. The skiving snack boxes.
And they don't lean into too heavily. Like, I would have liked more because in the book it's an ongoing thing. And I can't remember. It's been a while since I watched the movie now. Does Hermione talk about how advanced the magic is in the movie?
No, she doesn't.
Because that's like something.
And she also doesn't mention how it's like, you shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, because in the books, like, she disapproves, but she's like, this is really advanced magic.
Yeah.
Like, Fred and George know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like, they're always kind of seen as jokers. And it's a really, like, lovely, like, legitimization of them because they've always been seen as pranksters and not taking anything seriously except for Quidditch. But it's like, oh, no, like, they don't know how to do magic.
Yeah.
And they might be a lot smarter and a lot cleverer than people realize. And then they do that. And then we have the wonderful scene with the fireworks, which is the fireworks in the book?
Yes.
Okay, because I couldn't remember. Yeah. And I think the fireworks and the music again, like, I really love that whole sequence. I don't know why the fireworks, like, creates a replica of Malfoy's face.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me, but at the same time.
It would have been nice to see the swamps because in the book, it's not just the fireworks, it's a whole bunch of other things as well. And so they had, like...
A swamp in a office?
Yeah, it's like a portable swamp sort of thing like that. So you literally, like, it expands into this massive swamp. And then she was saying, like, the teachers were saying that they didn't know, we don't know how to get rid of these, swamps and things like that. And she was constantly asking, like, Flitwick to help her or something. But I thought that whole scene is obviously fantastic. Yeah. That's really, really good.
I also don't know how I feel about Filch. Like, I know he was part of the Inquisitorial Squad in the books,
but almost being like a love interest.
Yeah, he's just like obsessed with Like, I don't know, like Filch. I like Filch as a character. Like in the books, I like that he's complex. Like he's this guy that doesn't, he's old fashioned. He doesn't really like the students and stuff like that. But also he's a squib, so like he's got his own inner turmoil. And there's a lot of interesting stuff to him in the books, and in the movies, he's you can't do a Filch movie. Like you can't spend much time with it. You can't. But at the same time,
I do like that whole montage with the room of requirement, and it turns into and then it turns into the broom closet. They're like that whole montage there. That's really, really good.
We also get Thestrals, which we didn't talk about.
Yeah, that's right. So we get the Thestrals, and I think they look really good.
Yeah, they still hold up as well.
Yeah, they hold up really, really well. And the way that we're introduced to them too is really good. I like the movie magic of, us seeing them and then us not seeing them when they're attached to the carriages and everything like that. Now, obviously, we've got to talk about the most important part of the movie.
I'm getting ready for a fake out here. What is it?
Our favourite bit is when Voldemort is possessing Harry.
Well, or like when he's wearing a suit at the station.
Yeah, when he's wearing a suit at the station, that's so weird seeing Voldemort in a suit. So James and I have this like joke. It's not a joke. It's just like we'll just quote each other this. But there's a point where Voldemort is possessing Harry in the Ministry of Magic during the fight with him and Dumbledore. And we see that montage of images inside his head. And Voldemort is very poorly superimposed against this green screen of, like, clouds.
It's, like, similar to the weird freeze frame of Harry on the firebolt.
Yeah, it doesn't look good at all. I really like the part where Harry's, like, punching the Mirror of Erised and all this kind of stuff like that. He's like, look at me and all that sort of stuff. I thought that was really good. I want to get back to that point in a second as well. But there's this one split-second bit, and you guys will know it, is where Voldemort goes like that. And it's just like this weird... What? Why did you record that sound effect?
Well,
Why?
Do you remember?
I remember.
Like, there was an app?
Yes.
Yeah. Like, so we were on the iPhone store. This is going like 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's a long time
ago. And there was the Voldemort app. And
was like
there was
one
review and said app keeps crashing.
This app is no good, it keeps crashing. And you and I were like,
why would you create an app?
Like, just to play the...
Well, yeah, I think it was a soundboard, but that was the only sound on the soundboard.
Crashing. So that's so funny.
That's really funny.
But what was the point that I was going to make about the bears? Oh, I really love the neck twist thing that Daniel Radcliffe does whenever he's feeling Voldemort.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really good creative choice.
It's very horror movie.
Yeah.
Like, it reminds me of The Evil Dead, which is not like a pleasant, easy to watch horror. It's pretty like messed up. But it reminded me of that.
But it's also like a snake-like move, and just like those, he'd just do it. Sometimes he'd just do a tiny little one. Sometimes he'd do a really big one. And I just really loved like the play on that. Like, it's almost like he didn't even notice that Harry didn't even notice that he was doing that.
Yeah. One thing that I don't like in this movie is the oversimplification of Ginny. Like, Ginny's quite a good witch in the books, and in this movie, she's just like reduced to reducto.
She's reducted to reducto.
I know, it's like no pun intended. Like, all she does is use that spell, and like it's played for laughs in like the Dumbledore's Army thing, and like, oh yeah, not bad, whatever. But it's like. And I can't remember, and maybe you'll remind me, because like this is your favorite book. I don't remember Ginny being like, hey, I know we're like sneaking around, but let's use the most explosive spell in the Department of Mysteries. Yeah. Like, that doesn't happen.
I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, I do not believe so.
Yeah.
They were doing the thing that Hermione was doing, where you're getting balls from off the shelf, but I don't think that they didn't knock everything over. I don't think, because they didn't just fucking trash the place.
Yeah, like, I mean, visually...
The room of time turners got destroyed.
Yeah. I know visually, like, a mountain of, like, orbs falling down is quite cool, so I understand why they did it.
And that's the thing, because they're only showing us 2 rooms in the Department of Mysteries.
So
the veil. Do you want to talk about the veil?
Well, before we do, one thing we kind of haven't really talked about is the reason why Harry's going through this. Because we're not telling people what happens in the movie. Like, you've seen the movies, we're just telling what we think about them.
Yeah.
But like, the reason that Harry has to do the occlumency with Snape is because he keeps seeing visions of what Voldemort's seeing, and he thinks that Sirius has been abducted.
Yeah.
Which, spoiler alert, he wasn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they get to the Department of Mysteries.
Oh, and I got to mention another thing. Sorry, because this is the other key thing as well. So like, things haven't been. We're starting to get to the point now where things are not being set up properly.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't get Sirius giving Harry the mirror.
Yeah.
And so therefore, yes, that's right. And so therefore, in, movie number 8, we're not getting, like, Harry seeing Dumbledore's eyes in the mirror, because that's the same mirror. That's the same mirror. And so we're starting to get, and this is going to be a really big sticking point when we get to Half-Blood Prince. But we're starting, now that with the David Yates movies, we're cutting more out. We're starting to get to the point of like how hard is it to film a scene where, like, you don't even have to film Gary Oldman if you don't want to pay him for an extra day. You could literally film a scene where Harry's opening a package and it's from Sirius and it says, this is a way we can communicate with each other, and it's the mirror.
Or even, like, because
and then at the end, somebody goes, hey, why don't you fucking use that mirror instead of going to talk to try and save Sirius? And Harry going, oh, I'm a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were going to say?
Well, no, I'd forgotten that he got the mirror before Sirius died.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, well, actually, this would still work. It wouldn't help with the Sirius dying thing. but every movie ends with Harry talking to Dumbledore.
Yeah.
So you could even have a scene at the end of Order of the Phoenix where Dumbledore like, this was serious as he wanted you to have this. And then at least you're setting up Deathly Hallows.
That you would be doing that.
Yeah.
But the whole point of that mirror is that it is salt in the wound.
Yeah.
It is to go, Harry, had the solution, and instead he did the dickhead Harry thing that he always does and just works on impulse and doesn't think things through. And if he just thought it through for 30 more seconds, then Sirius wouldn't have died.
So then we get to the Veil.
Yeah.
And one thing there's made a stylistic choice very early on that all the Death Eaters can turn into puffs of smoke and fly around as puffs of smoke.
Yeah.
Which I don't like.
No.
And the reason I don't like visually it's very cool, but there's a huge plot twist at the start of Deathly Hallows where it's revealed that Voldemort can now fly.
Yeah.
Which we don't need to worry about in the 7th movie because anyone can fly apparently.
Yeah.
As long as you believe.
Yeah.
I don't know, I can't remember the book. I felt like that in the book it wasn't so bland. It's a very bland setting for me. It's just there's a pile of rocks and the Veil Room.
Veil Room.
I feel like there's more going on. I mean, I could be remembering it wrong.
So my understanding of the Veil Room, and this is, I mentioned this to you the other day, but nobody else that I know of thinks of it like this. And when I went on the internet and asked the internet what they thought this room was, it did not match up. So my thought is that it is a public execution room.
Yeah.
So in the books, from my memory, it's a circular room that has pews in it. And then in the middle is this archway that's you can walk 360 degrees around.
Yeah.
And you can walk the whole way around it. And in the middle of that archway is a fabric. And that's the veil, obviously.
Yeah.
And so I always thought, the minute I read that, the first time I read that, I was like, oh. And then Sirius obviously goes through it and he dies. I'm like, yeah, because it's a public execution room.
Yeah, I was always because in the book, and again, it's been a long time since I've read it, I was under the impression that he wasn't killed with Avada Kedavra. He went through the veil and that's what killed him.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
And in the movie, that's not what happens.
Because there's that whole thing where it's please, don't be dead. It's just basically Harry's he can't be dead.
But he's just gone through the curtain.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, no. You cannot go through, because Harry's about to go through the curtain.
Yeah.
And he gets pulled back and they're like, you cannot do that.
Yeah.
Because it's because that's what, isn't there a phrase crossing the veil or something about a veil and that means going into death?
I mean, probably I can't think of
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a phrase, a common phrase.
Yeah.
But I really liked the tie-in of Harry and Luna can hear the voices, everybody else can't. Harry and Luna can see the Thestrals, everybody else can't. It's because you have. So that's how I understood all of it.
Yeah.
Because it's to me, it's obvious. And the veil, the whispers in those voices are just all the people who have died crossing over into the afterlife.
Mm-hmm.
But the internet says, and I don't think the internet is right, the internet says that the room, the veil room, is it's kept there to be studied. So for the afterlife and death, and this is a weird, strange, magical object. We don't know what it is. We're going to study it. And I'm like, no, I don't think that's right. I think it's public execution because that's why it's in the Department of Mysteries. It's in the Department of Mysteries because they don't publicly execute people anymore.
Well, I guess an argument you made for the death is the final mystery, and that's why it's in the Department of Mysteries.
Yeah, that's true.
But I do like your version. I'm or even if it was
I reckon back 200 years ago.
It's the former execution, so no longer used as an execution.
It's no longer used. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
They would have used it 600 years ago, back when they used to do public executions, but now they do Dementor's Kisses instead. Now they have Azkaban instead. All that sort of stuff. So it's just how nowadays we don't have public executions anymore, depending on where you live. But we have other alternatives instead. So that's what my thought in terms of what that room is. But yeah, I always, again, saw it as a wood panelled room.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it was a wood panelled room.
I have to go back and read it.
I do love that fall though, where they go, ah, and then they like hover for a second and then drop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good.
So we have the fight, and the fight to me is nothing spectacular. It's fine. Like it's.
Oh, you always say that it's like you love that fight.
No. My favorite fight is coming up. And I don't know how I feel about the nice one, James. Like I use that quote that a lot.
Yeah,
I quote it a lot.
You quote it a lot.
But like, I'm like, do you know what would be better than that line of Sirius like mistaking his godson for his friend? Any scenes with them together in the last 2 movies.
Yeah.
Like that would have been better. Like I know sometimes you can put a throwaway line in. I was like, no. You only put that line in there. And I can't remember. It might be in the book. I can't remember. You put that line in there because you're like, he's about to die. So we need to remind you guys that they like each other. It's like, no. Like just give me more Harry and Sirius stuff.
Yeah.
Then of course, Bellatrix Lestrange kills Sirius Black, which didn't happen in the books, but that's fine. She goes off doing her little I killed Sirius Black chant. We get to see Harry use an unforgivable curse, which again almost got arrested for using a forgivable spell. Yeah. Flew in front of London, no problem. Using an unforgivable curse, no problem. In the Ministry of Magic. And he's got the trace on him, so anyway, that's fine. That does happen in the book as well, doesn't it? He does try to use an unforgivable.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
I did like that. I also like that she kind of enjoyed it. Like this, and I don't know if that's in the book or not, I can't remember, but I think that might be a Helena Bonham Carter choice, but I'm like, I liked that she enjoyed it. Like that's like that plays to her own insanity and madness. And then we get what is arguably maybe the coolest fight scene in any Harry Potter film, and that's Dumbledore versus Voldemort.
Yeah.
I'll say this, more visually interesting than the final battle. I want to say the final battle, I mean like Harry versus Voldemort.
Yeah.
The whole Battle of Hogwarts is incredible. That's amazing. But like in terms of one-on-one wizarding, them hugging, flying around Hogwarts and stuff.
Yeah.
Like this is the best scene. And I don't even remember if half of this stuff is in the book. But visually it's just stunning. You got like the fire spell and like that water orb.
Yeah, the water orb is so cool.
And all the glass getting turned into sands.
Yeah,
like
awesome.
And Dumbledore like
and slicing up that banner of fudge. All the shards of glass.
I think you meant like like a piece of fudge.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you talking about? Like we talk a lot. They talk a lot about in the movies and the books about like how Voldemort's name is taboo and like the power of a name. And I just love how Dumbledore just addresses him by his Muggle name. It's just like, you shouldn't have come here tonight. Like, it's foolish to come here tonight, Tom. I love, they only have like that's the only scene that those two actors get together.
Yeah.
And I think it's so well executed, and they work together so well. I think that's easily the best scene in the movie, and maybe one of the best sequences in the entire franchise for me.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this?
No, it's awesome. It's really, really awesome. Yeah, the only thing that frustrates me is it is marred by the really bad special effects of the clouds behind Voldemort in the bit. And also Daniel Radcliffe's in a really weird position when he gets possessed. I think he's supposed to be like a snake.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, it's awesome. And yeah, no, I think it's really great.
And then he's back.
He's back. It's like, yeah, no shit, he's back.
And like, for the record, like, it's not just the movie. The whole point of that, like, 800-page book is to convince Cornelius Fudge of something he didn't believe at the end of the last book.
Yeah, that's
the whole journey of this book.
Yeah.
In a nutshell. Then obviously, how does it end? Is it just there's the newspapers and then like?
Oh, they're walking to the train, and he's like, Voldemort's.
Oh yeah, we've
got
one
friends. Thing that Voldemort doesn't have friendship. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And that's Order of the Phoenix.
Yeah.
A lot of great stuff in it. Like, there's some things I don't like. There's some things I know. Obviously, you got mixed feelings on it because of the book, but I think all in all, it fixes a lot of damage the previous film did, or not so much damage, but it gets the series back on course.
Yeah.
So then we head into Half-Blood Prince.
Yeah.
New characters, we have
Cormac McLagan,
Jim Broadbent as Professor Slughorn.
Yeah.
We get young Voldemort.
Yes.
And he's like, Professor. That's how he talks. That's how he talks. What? Do we get any others?
Oh, like maybe little bits and pieces. Like we've got Marcus Belby, for example, but he's not, you know.
Do we get the return?
My dad said the only potion worth drinking is a stiff one at the end of the day.
There's the return of the boy with the beezer in his pocket.
Oh,
no! Oh no, we get the recasting of Lavender Brown.
Oh yes, that's right, we do.
So we got a couple of bits and pieces. Again, this is my favorite book. And my favorite sequence of the book is not even in the movie.
What sequence is
It's
that?
the invasion of Hogwarts and how like all the Death Eaters are running through the hallways, causing problems and attacking students and tearing down things. Like that, like you just see a long shot of like Hogwarts in this movie, and that's it. There's a lot of stuff that's not covered. We don't get to like get into the history of the Gaunt family and stuff like that.
Yes, which really frustrates me. Really frustrates me. I was having a conversation at work, this was a few months ago, with one of my colleagues, and we were talking about like Harry and Horcruxes and all this kind of stuff like that. And Voldemort not being able to... Oh, that's right, because she went and saw Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, and I was talking about how like Voldemort like can't experience love because he was conceived under the effects of a love potion, and that's why he can never experience love, and all that, and that's why he's such like a horrible person and everything like that. Can't understand friendship, he can't understand maternal love and all that sort of stuff. And she was like, "What? Where is that in the movies?" It's not in the movies. And I explained the entire Gaunt scene to her, and she's like, "That's amazing." I'm like, "I know."
Now, is 6... I should know this because this is my favourite book, but it's been a while. 6 opens with is it the other minister?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is not in the movie.
Yeah.
In the book, Cornelius Fudge, like, meets with the Muggle Prime Minister.
Or is that 5?
No, it's 6, because 5 opens on the hottest day of the summer.
Yeah.
No, because I couldn't remember if it was 6 or 7, but 7 opens with the 7 Potters. So 6 opens with Fudge coming into...
Because 6 is the one with the bridge?
Yeah.
Yeah, so then 6 is the one with the Prime Minister.
Which is very cool.
Yep.
And he meets with the Muggle Prime Minister to say, like, to tell him all about the magic world. And he's like, and then like it ends pretty much with him being like, "Oh, I've got the sack. I'm done." Like Fudge has been fired and he's going to be replaced with
Rufus Scrimgeour.
Scrimgeour, that's right. And then they talk about like the Millennium Bridge and stuff like that, and all the attacks. We don't get that. We do get to see like the Death Eaters doing something.
And that's another thing. So Fudge has been fired.
Yeah.
No, and we just start number 6 with Rufus Scrimgeour.
We don't even see Scrimgeour in 6. He doesn't show up till 7.
He doesn't show up till 7. So even then, he's like, "These are dark and terrible times." Oh my God, that was a really good impression. Good.
Was it as good as...
Really good impression. Like, when you're not told if you watch the movie, you're not told that Fudge is
gone.
He
just disappears.
Is it in one of those? Because you know how at the end of
Order of the Phoenix,
there's all these newspapers,
and I think there's they question his future.
Yeah,
but they don't. That's as far as it goes. You're never told.
Mm.
The sequence of the Death Eaters attacking the Millennium Bridge is cool. Love that. Like even though I don't care for them flying, it does look cool. Like them flying around destroying the bridge.
Yeah.
And then we cut to Harry in a diner.
Yeah, I don't like this bit.
Him talking to a Muggle girl.
I don't like this bit, and this whole like, make a little magic for your man tonight poster, and Dumbledore's there, and the train, like, and Harry Potter with some tosser, and just like.
I don't mind it. It's, I mean, I would have rather the conversation between the ministers, Like that would have been cool. But I don't mind. I don't mind that we get to see Dumbledore in the Muggle world. So, like that's kind of cool. I like that.
I don't like what he says. He's like, "There'll be time for romance later, Harry. You will do what I say. Take my hand."
Well, I like the review, like the Our Man like thing where he's like,
yeah.
And then they go to Slughorn's place. Well, not Slughorn's place. They go to meet Slughorn.
Which, if you are watching this movie, like either in the nighttime or in the daytime, so any time.
Okay, any
time, you cannot see these scenes.
Yeah, it's very dark.
You can't see it. It's too dark. The only time you can see it is when you watch it in cinemas. It's so goddamn dark.
I would say that Jim Broadbent is the star of this film.
Oh yeah, he's great.
Like from his introduction as a sofa, like he's so good. Like, and I love Jim Broadbent and everything. Like, probably my favorite performance of his is in Hot Fuzz. But I like reading the book and like hearing the cast, I was like, that's pretty good casting. He's really good. So they go to get Slughorn, and again, it's not talked about in the movie, but in the book, like. They think, oh, he'll be the new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher.
Yeah.
Because so that's a whole big thing in the book, and it's not really, they don't really make too much of it in the movie, but it's revealed he's going to be the potions master, and Snape is finally, after all this time, going to be Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher.
Yeah, you don't actually see many lessons with Snape as a Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher.
No. And, like, in the books, like, it's a whole thing. Like, it's a whole sticking point. And I know, like, if you go through the movies, you only see them do, like, maybe 3 lessons per movie. Like, for a movie about kids in a school, not a lot of school going. Which is a real shame because the classes are interesting.
That's why I'm saying you gotta have like Harry Potter TV show that's Friends or Seinfeld.
Yeah. You get the Weird Sisters playing the theme song. Do we just go straight to school from there? Like. I feel like there's not too much preamble in this movie. I feel like we get to school pretty quickly. But basically the whole crux...
Yes.
No, that wasn't planned. The whole crux of this film is that Harry... The reason that they recruited Slughorn is Slughorn has his memory and Harry has to go get it from him.
Yeah.
And this is a film that really finally delves into the backstory of Voldemort.
Yeah, except that it fucking doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, yeah.
Except... that it fucking doesn't.
Did you forget about Poof Poof?
No, we spend the entire movie on literally 2 memories.
Yeah.
2 memories. The one where Voldemort is in the orphanage, and then the one where we're getting it from Slughorn. And those are the only 2 memories we see. We see nothing about Hepzibah Smith, do we? We see nothing about Merope, do we? We see nothing about anything else. Except fucking Professor. and I could talk to snakes. Is that strange? Am I weird? That's that whole creepy bit. And whilst I love the imagery of like the memory going into the pensive and like how it all like plumes into place and all that sort of stuff like that, I think that's really cool. You have not set up anything.
Yeah.
And so then we have to have this whole thing about how Harry feels Horcruxes. He doesn't fucking feel Horcruxes. He learnt about the Horcruxes. It was explained to him. He had lessons with Dumbledore. Oh, that's right.
I forgot about the private lessons
so much. Private lessons
with Dumbledore throughout the books. Yeah. Throughout the 6th book, yeah. We have a subplot where Draco Malfoy is trying to repair a vanishing cabinet.
Yeah. Which they always say cabinet, not cabinet. Because they're British.
And
vanishing cabinet.
And then we also have the Ron love story. So Ron, like, finally after 6 movies gets some action.
Yeah.
And we have all the Lavender Brown stuff, which I think is handled quite well. It's very entertaining. Like, I really enjoyed that.
I love that train bit where she's drawing on the window and Harry's just like, lovely.
Yeah. However, I feel like it's kind of... I think, like, most of these films, they start strong and then like they wrap things up with a bit of a fizzle. Like the whole reason that Lavender and Ron break up in the book is that she thinks that he's got the hots for Hermione. Like there's this whole like outburst. She's like, "You're always talking about her," and all this. And he's like, "Yeah, she's my friend." And like, but in the movie, like she just sees them holding hands because he's in the hospital wing, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's the end of the love story. Like,
Yeah.
So it's fine. Also, I feel like in the sixth book, and I could be wrong, is the sixth book where not at the very start, but they end up like celebrating Harry's birthday in the Weasley's yard, and there's the fireflies, and there's the snitch cake, or is that an earlier book? I feel like that's a big one, and like Tonks is there, and
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's book number 6.
yeah, like that's a really
It's
and
not
like
book number. Is it book number 7?
no, because 7 is
The wedding.
Is the wedding? It could
But
be
don't
7.
they do that before the wedding? Don't they celebrate Harry's birthday before the wedding?
I mean, look, it doesn't matter. It's not in the movies.
Yeah.
But and like you got like the boys playing Quidditch on the broomsticks, and I think Ginny's playing as well, and Hermione and Tonks are watching.
Well, let's talk about Quidditch for a second.
Yes.
Because Harry's now captain.
Is that even mentioned in the movie? Like
no, like he has his recruitment scene with Cormac McLaggen.
No, I understand that, but like there's no. I feel like there's no talk about like.
Well, he's the one who's talking to the group. I think it's pretty much assumed. There is such a lack of colour in this film. They have taken away all colour. It might as well be in black and white. That to the point where in that scene with the Quidditch tryouts, they don't have the banners on the Quidditch stadium.
Yeah.
Why? Why are you so obsessed with taking colour away from this movie?
Well, my thought is, I feel like as they head towards the finale, they are becoming more void of colour because it's like Voldemort is slowly seeping in to the world.
I know, but
I'm not saying it's the right decision, but I think that's the idea behind it. Also, isn't the sixth book, and correct me if I'm wrong, isn't the sixth book where Ron and Hermione become prefects?
Yes.
Which isn't addressed in the movie.
Yes.
And because there's the whole ongoing isolation of Harry because so that's also not touched on. There's a lot of things missing from this.
Or was it one of the Phoenix? No. You become prefects in 6th year or 5th year?
I think you can become in 5th year. Because I think Percy was a 5th year prefect.
Aren't you prefect for 2 years? Or prefect for 3 years?
I don't know. But I feel like they don't become prefect until the 6th movie. Because, that's why Harry's able to slip out and get into the compartment and eavesdrop on Draco, because Ron and Hermione have to go and do prefect things.
Yeah, they have to go do prefect things. That's exactly right. And there's a prefect's carriage, and they decide not to go to the prefect's carriage because they want to spend time with Harry.
I think it is 5. Dumbledore says to him, and I think it was at the end of the 5th book, he's like, I just don't be too much on your plate this year.
Yeah.
So maybe it is 5. But either way, not addressed in the films.
Yeah.
And that's something that, isn't really touched on is as the books go on, Harry is isolated more and more from his friends through different circumstances. Like Dumbledore pulls himself away from Harry in the 5th book. Harry and Ron are taken away from their prefect duties. And that isolation is really important because that's why Harry feels he's so much like Voldemort because he is isolated.
And that's what Luna says in book number 5, in movie number 5. She goes, because if it's just you alone, you're not as much as a threat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we talk about Tom Felton for a second?
Yes.
Because I think his performance in this film is his greatest performance.
In all of his work?
Well, I haven't seen all of his work, so I can't say in all of his work.
What about in The Flash?
But in all...
Or that Uber Eats ad.
yeah, Uber Eats ad's really good. Yeah. Have you seen the second part of it? There's a second part where he's in jail.
No, I haven't seen it.
He's rocking back and forth. He's like, magic's not real, magic's not real, magic's not real.
Oh, that's great.
It's really good. No, his performance in this film is by far the best in all the Harry Potter films. And he talks about it in his memoir as well. And he talks about how, something really clicked with him for this movie and all that sort of stuff like that. And just brilliant. His vulnerability, his... just facial expressions where he's able to communicate so much without saying any words.
Well, it's the most important.
He's really understood the gravity that he has, that the job of what Draco has to do.
Well, it's also the most important chapter of Draco's story.
Yeah,
Because the first 5 books, he's just the school bully.
that's right.
But, like, in the 6th book, and we didn't talk about the Unbreakable Vow, but obviously there's all that as well, is that in the 6th book, Draco is like, oh, I'm going to get to be a real bad guy. That's what I want to do. And then has to realize what that actually entails. And so 6 and 7 are really about him wrestling with, like, is this what I've wanted? I thought it was cool, but people are getting killed.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not as cool as I thought it was. So, yeah, he's great. I feel like for as much as they kind of cross paths in the book, Harry and Draco are quite isolated from each other in the movie as well. Like, their only real scene together I can think of is the Sectum Sempra scene.
Yeah.
Which is a great
There's a couple of other scenes where they're in the same room or they see each other from across corridors and things like that. But, like, really the only one where they're in the same room together is Sectum Sempra.
Also, I feel like for a movie called The Half-Blood Prince, they really don't do too much on the Half-Blood Prince storyline.
Yeah.
So in the book, Harry, and again, like, so at the end of the 5th book, after they take their owls, Harry, like, talks to McGonagall and says he wants to be an Auror, but he wants to be an Auror, but he needs to take potions, and he doesn't score high enough to be in the potions class. And then in the 6th book, it's revealed he didn't score high enough to be in potions for Snape, but Slughorn only requires like a lower level so he can get into it. But because Harry didn't think he was going to be able to do potions, he doesn't have a book for potions.
Yeah.
Like, they're not fighting over books in the book itself. Like, the people taking potions bought their school books. Harry didn't buy school books because he didn't score high enough to be accepted in the classroom.
So he just used a spare
So he just has a spare one, and then, like, it is very reminiscent of Riddle's Diary, and there are, like, little messages and codes, and, like, it's not just the one potion. Like, he becomes the best student in the class for potions.
Yeah.
Like, he's outshining, like, Draco, he's outshining Hermione. Yeah, Hermione's furious. But also, like, it lends so much more credibility to the character of Snape once that final reveal of him. Again, like, they reveal that he's the Half-Blood Prince in this movie, but I don't care.
Yeah.
Because there's been nothing about it. But in the book, you're like, oh my god, he is the Half-Blood Prince. Wow, that's really cool. And then you're like, oh, Snape is so much smarter than we've ever given him credit for.
Yeah.
Like, because you realize that he was doing things, like, instinctively. Like, he was like, the book's wrong. But, like, I can get better results.
Yeah.
And, like, it's a really, like, like, this huge surge of credibility. Like, wow, like, he actually is quite formidable. Like, he's not just, like, he can walk the walk. He's just not just talking the talk. Like, when you kind of encounter Snape before this book, I feel like, oh, he's just mean.
Yeah.
But you're like, oh no, he's also brilliant. So, like, he gets away with being mean. Like, there's a reason why he's had this post for as long as he had, because he's probably the most knowledgeable teacher in the school, aside from maybe McGonagall. Like, he's actually really clever.
Yeah.
But you don't get that from the movie.
No.
Like, you get like him banging people's heads together and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, like that. This is probably the one that's going to bug me the most, aside from like Goblet of Fire. But he gets his liquid light, so he uses the potion book and in like a very funny scene, like of him and Ron fighting over a terrible book. And then like his whole storyline. I feel like Harry's story, for many parts of this movie, is more steeped in humor. I don't know if there's like a lot of jokes around it, like he's trying to avoid a love potion, which is in the book, but like, and he's trying to like, like trick Slughorn into like getting. But I don't know, like it feels like it's played a lot lighter than the book.
I think they have to because of Dumbledore's death.
Yeah,
that comes up. They know that such a big, heavy thing is coming up, and they have to do
Nick
that.
Owen's favorite moment in that movie.
Yeah, raising the wands.
Yeah.
I want to talk to us for a second about the flattening of Ginny, and it's in two very sticky outy scenes.
Is it the Christmas?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the first one is the Christmas at the Burrow, and like she's like, your shoelace is untied. Let me tie your shoelace. And then we have that scene that it's not in the book of destroying the Burrow.
Which I do like that scene. Like it. I know it's not in the book. I do like it because it does bring some threat to the home front.
Yes, that's right.
So, and it is shot quite well. And it's a really nice moment.
Again, that sound of just running through the reeds and the sloshing of the water.
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the reusing of "I killed Sirius Black." It's
Yeah.
like we know.
Yes.
He knows. Like, and
Yeah.
Bellatrix, like she's more complex than that.
Yeah.
Like she's not like. I mean, Harry falls for it, so I guess like she was
Yeah.
right to do it. But it's like, come on, man. But I do like that, and I like the whole idea of like Ginny and Harry fighting back to back, like in the reads and so that's
Yes.
very cool. So I do like that, even though it's on the book. I do like it.
And the second one is the kiss in the Room of Requirement as well. I just feel like either Bonnie Wright was given a note or Bonnie Wright made the creative choice to just be very flat. Be very flat in this film.
Because Ginny is very fiery. Like
she is.
And
even in Order of the Phoenix, she is as well.
And they don't really talk about it. Like, I think it's in. It must be. Is it in the? Yes, in the six. It is in Half-Blood Prince because they're in the Three Broomsticks.
Yeah.
And like they don't want to
kissing Dean Thomas.
Yeah, but like this whole plot point in the book is that she's popular.
Yeah.
Like all the guys are chasing Ginny from like multiple year levels.
And she gets angry at Ron. Because Ron's like, I don't want people thinking my sister is a skank, basically.
Yeah.
And she's like, fuck you.
There should be like a wizarding like word for like that.
Yeah.
Like it should be like I don't know.
A wibbly wand.
Not that.
No,
but like just like how there's mudblood.
Yeah.
Like there should be like one for like someone who's
easy wand rider.
No. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I can't remember the order.
But yeah, so she's so that's really frustrating to me because like this is something that Ginny has wanted for such a long time. You know, she's had a crush on Harry for forever. Like since Chamber of Secrets, she's had a crush on Harry.
Yeah, well, even Philosopher's Stone, because like she's just excited to see him.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And now it just seems like, you know, whilst now that Harry's finally interested in her, she's just kind of like, oh.
And that's not how it is in the books either. Like,
no, it isn't. It's this passionate thing between the two of them.
And there's this whole thing about like Harry.
And she's funny. She makes that joke about how like there's a dragon
tattoo on his chest. Yeah,
and kind of stuff like that. Like she's really funny, and she's just here. She's just like a piece of paper. And
there's this whole thing about like Harry being jealous, like wishing it was him kissing Ginny and not Dean Thomas and stuff like that.
And you absolutely don't get that at all.
We get the cursed necklace, which is after that scene.
Yeah.
We get. I'm trying to think. Is the love potion before the Slug Club dinner or after the Slug Club dinner?
Oh, I can't remember.
There's the whole thing where like Ron eats chocolates from Romilda Vane.
Yeah.
And
it's after. There
is one joke in there that I do really like, and I don't think it's in the book. Is when like Harry and Hermione are in the library, and she's like, "They're only interested in you because they think you're the chosen one." He goes, "I am the chosen one." Such a good joke. I mean, I don't like the payoff, but it was like just a bad joke. Like I would have preferred them to just leave it. Like, but I think that like Daniel Radcliffe's delivery of that line is very funny. I think the whole Slug Club dinner and Christmas party scenes are great.
Yeah, I think they're great.
Those are really good. I love all the interactions with the different characters and like how they bounce off each other and off Jim Brooke. I think it's just a really well crafted ensemble in both those scenes.
Like everybody's favorite bit is when Aragog's dead and Harry goes.
Yeah, I was waiting for that one. You touched on Quidditch and we didn't talk about it, but Ron does become the keeper.
Yeah.
And I you know this was in the book as well. I really loved the whole Harry tricking him into thinking he put the liquid luck.
Yeah.
Just so he could get the confidence. So that was all really good. I like all that stuff. And then I feel like there's just a lot of nothing going on in this movie at the same time. There's a lot of connecting scenes. We get I do like when Hermione, I don't know if this is in the book, when Hermione gets sad and like she and Harry are talking and like she's conjuring up the birds and then she launches them at Ron and Lava. I really like that. I like seeing,
that is in the book.
I like that vulnerability from Hermione, and I think Emma Watson played it really well.
Yeah.
because that's a character who doesn't get to show a lot of vulnerability because she's the smart girl.
Yeah.
Like, she gets picked on, but she has to also be the tough, like, she has to be mentally tough and emotionally tough.
Yeah.
So you don't get to see her be vulnerable and be like, you know what? Like, I'm really sad that the boy I love is with another girl. Like,
yeah.
I like that they did that. And then I guess then it's time for Harry and Dumbledore to travel to the cave.
Yeah. What do you think about the cave scene?
I like the Inferi.
The Inferi?
Is that what they are? Inferi? The underwater zombies. I like that. I like the whole, like, Dumbledore creating the fire and stuff like that. Again, like, it's a very rare badass Dumbledore moment. It's not as good as the Order of the Phoenix scene, but it's not bad. But I feel like in the book it's way more intense.
Yeah.
Like, because there's a whole thing about Ariana, which they don't really reference. Like, they don't reference Ariana.
It's never mentioned in the book what Dumbledore. There's a spider crawling on our ceiling. It's never mentioned in the book. Yeah.
I'll take care of it while you talk.
It's never mentioned in the book what Dumbledore is seeing. And so it's not until, like, at the end of the 7th book where he's like, oh, it must have been the spider fell down. Is now in our bed. Or in your
He's
clothes.
Dead.
He's dead.
Yeah. Dead as Aragog.
As dead as Aragog, that's right. Can you get the venom from him? Because acromantula venom is actually really quite rare. So that would be really helpful, James.
Sure.
I'm looking for it's not until like Harry's talking to Aberforth where he's like, yeah, well, his last moments he was basically like begging to die instead of Ariana.
Yeah.
And that's not revealed until book 7.
No, I know, but I feel like I can't remember if they even touch on like him being like, "I'm sorry," or like, because in the book it's very emotional. It's very like, and I feel like in the movie it's a little bit.
No, in the movie he's literally just like and then he goes, "Kill me!" Yeah. It looks like he's just in pain, basically.
Yeah. And then so we get back to Hogwarts, and this is when Draco. We didn't talk about, but Draco has been tasked with murdering Dumbledore. Like that. Voldemort's like, you want to join my club? First task, do the thing that I can't do.
Do you want to be in my gang? I want to be in your gang, says Draco.
But like, it's so funny. Like, it's an impossible task. Like, he asked a teenager. He's like, can you murder the greatest wizard of all time because I'm afraid of him and I can't do it? Like, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's right.
And like, Dumbledore's the only one that Voldemort was ever afraid of. And then, of course, there's the big reveal, and Snape murders Dumbledore.
Yeah.
And he has a slow motion fall to the ground.
Yeah.
And then what is, arguably one of the coolest moments in the book is just omitted. Like, in the book, like, it's Fenrir Greyback and a bunch of Death Eaters, and they're, like, tearing up, like, the Hogwarts, and they're, like, knocking suits of armor down. They're, like, they're cursing.
All it is Bellatrix, like, smashing some cat.
And Dumbledore's having to fight the Death Eaters, like, because they've all been trained and they fought the Death Eaters in the previous book. So in this book, they're actually like fighting them and trying to like get them out of the castle and stuff, which is just completely omitted from the movie, which is a real shame. I think to me, like, whilst there are some really important plot points that are removed from the movie, I feel like this is one of the most visually interesting parts of the book that should have been in the movie. Like, like we haven't had like a really. Like, I'm like. Did you put that fight scene at the Burrow in because you knew you were cutting this scene? I'm like, I would rather that fight scene. Like, that one we can see. Yeah, anyway. And I know they're like, oh, we're getting to the Battle of Hogwarts. We don't want to, we don't want to undercut that. It's like, just have lots of battles of Hogwarts.
Yeah.
Like, it's always good.
Yeah, that's right. More magic.
And then they reveal, they do their little funeral for Dumbledore, and then they're like, we're going to be friends forever. And they got the locket, and that's how Half-Blood Prince ends.
Yeah, basically.
It's one of for me, it's one of the weaker films. I do like it, but I definitely prefer the book. I just wish that there's just so much good stuff in the book, and like it's shorter than the last 2 books.
Yeah,
and I think that's the frustrating thing is it's shorter than Order of the Phoenix. It's shorter than Goblet of Fire. You could have put a few more cool things in.
Yeah.
Because. From my point of view, that movie shouldn't have been called Half-Blood Prince because they didn't touch on any of the Half-Blood Prince stuff.
Yeah.
Like, they should have just called it Harry Potter and another adventure.
Harry Potter and the same memory again
Yeah.
and again and again. And again.
Harry Potter and Professor. I was in the library. Which brings us to Deathly Hallows Part 1.
Yep.
The movie.
Do you want to talk about Part 1 and Part 2 at
together?
the same time?
Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Part 2.
Yep.
Part 1, which is the tree movie. That was
the camping movie.
That was the criticism of that movie. Like, there's so much camping and trees and walking. What is this, Lord of the Rings?
In the book, it's all camping, isn't
it? Yeah. Which I remember when we came out of Part 1, I was like, oh, that was a really good idea. Like, I was like, that was the smart thing to do, because that means pretty much all that's left is the Battle of Hogwarts. Yeah. So, like, that's why they did it that way. Like, and I stand by that. I think that was the right decision.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Because you don't want to cut down the battle to less than it is. You don't want to underrepresent it. And there's stuff that's been changed, but the important stuff stayed in. So I thought it was a smart decision. In this one, we get the introduction of Bill Weasley, played by Donald Gleeson.
Yep.
We get the return of Fleur Delacour.
Yep. We get the most important character of all.
Is it Mundungus?
Firestone.
Oh, Firestone. I said Mundungus Fletcher.
With his 20 collars.
Yeah. We do get Mundungus finally.
We do get Mundungus.
Who's referenced constantly throughout the series. This is his first appearance. We get some more creature stuff. Who else do we get? We get Bathilda Bagshot.
Yeah.
Makes her appearance.
Mm-hmm. Creepy.
We get the introduction of Xenophilius Lovegood, played by Risa Farnes. So great casting, actually. Really good casting there. Scrimgeour, played by Bill Nye.
Yes, that's right. These are dark and terrible times.
Where we get we didn't talk about the previous order. We didn't talk about Dumbledore's got style. Who's that guy? The Kingsley Shacklebolt.
Yeah.
Who is not how I imagined him in the book at all.
Oh, really? He's pretty much exactly how I imagined him.
I actually and you might find this. You might be like, really? I thought he'd be played by someone more like Kyle Smith Bino. Okay. I thought he's going to be more maybe not as young as him.
Yeah.
But I thought he's going to be more kind of tough. I don't know why. I thought he'd be kind of a bit tougher.
Kyle Smith Bino is tougher than.
No, but when you see him in Staff, he's got an attitude to him. He's
okay. Yeah. I gotcha.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. But so he's in there briefly. Who else do we get in this movie? I'm just trying to think of other new characters that are brought to us. We get the
Snatchers.
Yeah. We get who's played by a guy who wants to be Johnny Depp from the looks of it.
Yeah.
We get the care of magical. The Muggle Studies professor hanging upside down.
Charity Burbage.
Yes, we get the return of Wormtail.
Wormtongue is Lord of the Rings. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Wormtail. Sorry, it is 9:30 at night, and I didn't sleep well. Anyone else new in these movies?
I'm sure we'll think of it as we discuss.
Cool. No worries at all. First of all, this is one we definitely went and saw. Did we see both of the midnight screening?
Yes.
We did.
Yes.
I remember going to see Part 1. We went to the Knox Cinema.
We did. And I had a Harry Potter cocktail. Still doing Harry Potter cocktails.
We both did.
Yeah.
And the line was out the door. And for those who've never been to the Knox Cinema, it's when you walk in, and it's changed a little, but when you walk in, the ground floor is where you would buy your tickets, and I think you'd pre-ordered your tickets in advance. You would have had to. And there are escalators. There were lines up to the escalators, on the escalators, and it was in VMAX, which is the largest cinema. It was crazy. I've never seen a movie theater that busy.
Yeah.
And I've been to all the Avengers films, most of them on opening night, on opening day. Not even those can compare to Deathly Hallows Part 1. It was huge. I remember also when the trailer for Deathly Hallows Part 1 dropped, this is before we lived together, we would call each other up pretty much every night when we were dating. Pretty much every night. And we watched the trailer a few times, and we were like, all right, pause it there. Let's talk about this moment here. What do you think this is?
That's right. I forgot about that. I forgot we used to do that.
Yeah, and we were like, okay, let's go through it again. Okay, let's start.
Who do we think that person is?
I'm pretty sure that's Amicus Caro.
Yeah.
And I think I was right.
Oh, what scene is that?
Yeah. I remember we did that. So leading into the film, do you remember like what were your expectations? What was your anticipation level like? Because I know now, like, obviously in this episode of the podcast and the previous episode, we've been focusing on some of the things we wish they'd improved on. But like at the time, I think we're in agreement. We were like, oh my god, this is amazing. Like,
yes, I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. I was like, I don't know how they're gonna do the horror because I was angry after Half-Blood Prince.
Blood.
Blood.
Half-Blood Prince.
Swedish. I was angry after Half-Blood Prince because I was like, I don't know how the fuck you think you're gonna do Horcruxes when you have stuffed it up this royally. And I was also like, I don't know where they're gonna end it. Where are they gonna end it? But I was really, really excited. Did we dress up?
No, I didn't.
I don't think I dressed up, but I think I went like in my Harry Potter clothes.
Yeah, I think you were Harry Potter clothes.
Yeah.
And what's your feelings on the seventh book? Like, do you like the seventh book? Like,
I really like the seventh book.
Were you happy with the way it ended?
Yeah.
Like, because it's a big task. Like, especially like, and I'm sure at the time J.K. Rowling was, when she was writing Philosopher's Stone, was like, this is going to be great. If 10 people read it, I'll be happy. And like, it became this global phenomenon. And like, I got to imagine as an author, the pressure, like, to keep delivering book after book. And I'll be honest, there's not a bad book in the bunch for me. I like all the books. Like, the books are all entertaining. They all have great. I'm like, yeah, I've got my favorites and stuff like that, but there's not a bad book in there.
No, that's right.
But I think, like, when the seventh book came out, we talked about this last time, how we both bought it on the same day. We're reading at the mechanic.
Yeah.
Like, I think there was that kind of like, well, I hope she finishes it well.
Yeah.
Because one thing I wasn't 100% sold on when I first read the book, but I do like it, is like, why are we only hearing about the Deathly Hallows as like the way to beat Voldemort in the last book? Like, this should have been brought in.
Yeah.
But then when it's revealed what the different Hallows are, you're like, oh, they've been in all the books.
Yeah.
They've been around for a long time. Once that was explained, like when the concept was introduced, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But then like when it was explained, I'm like, oh, this is actually kind of genius. Flick opens maybe my favorite opening to any of the movies with the Malfoy Manor sequence.
Yeah.
Like, that's so cool. Like, going to Malfoy's home, and like in the books and even in the movies, you're always like, well, he comes from wealth, so it must be like this amazing house, and it looks decrepit. Like, and like it's the vibe that Voldemort has brought, where it's like, I'm sure like before Voldemort came back, it was beautiful, but like because it's like the base of operations, like it's not this sparkling palace. It's not clean and like with house elves like keeping it nice.
Yeah,
and, like,
exactly.
It's almost kind of like,
I wonder how, like, because I know that Dobby was the Malfoy's house elf. I wonder if they only had one or if they had more.
Yeah, I always imagined. I don't know what I thought in the books, but after seeing that house, I'm like, well, not just Dobby. Although the Malfoys are definitely the type of wizarding family who are like, oh no, one house elf is enough to clean our house.
But to me, Malfoy Manor, like, I think it was more grand in the movies than my thoughts in the books.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, I love the idea of like they come from such wealth and
opulence.
Opulence, that's the word I was looking for. I was gonna say occlumency. And then like to say it's like, oh, like I'm sure it was nice once, but now it looks like Wayne Manor after like Bruce Wayne left Gotham.
Yeah.
It's falling apart. I think that whole opening scene is great, like the command that Voldemort has over the Death Eaters. I love it. I think it opens really, really strong. And that's when we jump to the wedding, is that right? No, Seven Potters.
Yeah, Seven Potters.
Now, there is a scene that has shown up, and I think it's on the DVD as well. There is a deleted scene. The one thing I was really disappointed about with part one is that in the book, Dudley and Harry have one final conversation.
Yeah.
And I really like that conversation. Like, I like that,
It's basically Dudley redeeming himself.
Yeah, he's like
starting to show pockets of redemption.
And he's like, he saved me 2 years ago. Like, he protected me. Like, he remembers the Dementor attack. And, like, he's like, oh, you're all right, Harry. Like, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas in the book, like in the movie, it's not shown. There's a deleted scene, though. Yeah. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's real. Because I remember watching that deleted scene so often that I kept forgetting that it's not actually in the movie. And it's really sad that that's not in the movie because I think it's a really important bookend. What I really, really enjoy about this book, the reason I like this book so much, is even though it's so much of it is not set at Hogwarts, which is frustrating. I really love how all these things are tied together. Like you get little pockets where you go, they mentioned that character again. Or like for instance, when they're by the stream and they're in their tent and they can hear Grip Hook, and I think it's Amos Diggory.
Oh, yeah.
And Dean Thomas, like sitting and they're talking, and I'm like,
yes,
that's and like Amos Diggory, and like little mentions, little pockets
Well,
of like, that character. Oh, that's what happened to them, and this is tied back together, and everything's just like very neatly stitched back. I think, but not in a way where you go,
it's not it's not fan service. It's like, it's organic.
Yes, that's right, and that's one of the things I really enjoy about this book.
And one thing, and they do kind of do it in the movie, but not to the extent that I would like, is in the book there's this whole thing where there's a pirate radio show called Potter Watch.
Yeah.
And like I think it's Dean Thomas or Lee Jordan or one of them that's running it. And they're kind of giving updates on like who's safe, who's been captured, that sort of thing. And
they do it in the movie, but it's done very differently.
Yeah, it's very like it's
like here's a list of dead names.
Yeah, it's like you want to be depressed, here we go.
Yeah.
Also there's the moment where Hermione puts a memory charm on her parents. There's that as well. We see that. And then we get to the 7 Potters. So Moody and the Order show up. And that's when Harry meets Bill for the first time. Like, oh, hi, Harry, Bill Weasley. It's like,
and we never meet Charlie.
Yeah, but in the books, like they met like years before.
Yeah.
But I do like the sequence. I do like Hagrid.
Yeah.
And, I think like it captures the chaos of the scene in the book really well. Like they all leave at the same time and then things fall apart. You got Voldemort flying. I do like Voldemort flying in this. Like I did say before how it's undercut by all the Deathly Hallows fly, but his flying is cool.
Yeah.
But they never really. There's a storyline in the book where Harry thinks that his wand controlled itself. And that's not really addressed in the movie.
No.
Does Hedwig gets killed in the movie, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does. Yeah. It's literally like in a second.
Yeah.
It's like, if I accept it, no! And then that's it.
Same with Mad Eye, Mad Eye's dead.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
But I do like that sequence, and then they all arrive at the Burrow, and they're getting ready for the wedding. The wedding stuff, I think I would have liked a bit more of. I don't know about you. Like, I thought the wedding scene.
I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of like a frantic Molly.
Yeah.
You know, like going around going, we gotta get this ready. Well, this isn't ready, and blah blah blah. And like Fleur, just her and Fleur and Molly like sitting down and organizing it and everything. But instead we got like zip me up, Harry. I'm not wearing a bra underneath this dress.
Yeah.
And anybody want a mince pie?
Yeah, look out for my molly wobbles.
Yeah.
That's a reference to The Secret Question.
Yeah. And just like we get the will, Dumbledore's will.
That's
as well. Which is good. But yeah, so I think I would have liked a little bit more fun at the wedding before it all goes to shit.
Yeah.
Like, there's not really much fun at the wedding because Harry sits and chats to Alphonse Doge the whole time. And then the attack happens.
Yeah, I do like the warning from Kingsley, though. Like, I like the serious tone. I've always liked the Ministry has fallen. Like, that's I feel like they used that in the trailer as well. It's such a cool, very, very cool. Yeah, very cool. Then they apparate out and they get to the diner, and that's a pretty cool scene. I like them in the diner.
Yep.
And then from there, do they apparate to Grimmauld Place?
Yes.
Which then they have to apparate to the Forest of Dean, which is where Ron gets splinched, which would have been even more impactful.
No, they go to the Ministry first.
Do they?
Yeah, because that's coming back from the Ministry.
That's right. All right, so we get to the Ministry, and we get some
The acting from the 3 actors
playing, pretending to be Harry Ron Hermione is great.
is so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Really,
And
really
who's that actor who plays the Ron?
Reg Catamol?
Yeah, Reg
I don't know who
Catamol.
the actor is, but he's great.
He's a famous British actor, and he's from like some comedy.
I'll look it up for you.
Some comedy series, and I saw him in something else, and I was like, oh, he's really funny. And I just thought like that whole series and segment is really, really good. And like Dolores is going downstairs and she takes Hermione with her, and she's got the locket around, and you've got like the decoy detonators and everything like that. You've got the whole Ministry changing to, magic is might, and this whole darkness and everything. I think that whole like sequence is great. That's really, really good. It just seems to be one of the things that I don't like, and it's also a problem that I have with the book as well, is like Polyjuice Potion is just like easily accessible now. Like you don't see, like people just have batches of it on demand. Like you don't seem to have to be brewing it for like 21 days
2 months or whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. Which is a bit frustrating because you kind of go, well,
in the book, doesn't she have a batch like ready to go? Hasn't she been making it in advance?
Yeah, she has. But then also Moody has it. He just happens to just have some. Like, and I'm sure like he would have been brewing it. Like he's an aura, he would have it.
I wonder whether or my thought was like even.
But you could just have a sentence.
He was in Gavin and Stacey, Reg Catamol.
Oh, right. So that's it. Yes, that's where I know him from.
So I had to do a while to find out what he was in. Yeah. Yeah, I understand. Like it is frustrating. But that whole sequence is good. I love that scene where they're interrogating like all the potential Muggle-borns.
Yeah.
And like the Dementors are held at bay by the cat Patronus.
That's right.
That's really cool. The Magic is Might statue was very cool. Like that's exactly how I imagined it looking from the book. They really capture that.
Yeah.
Then they go to the Forest of Dean, and Ron gets.
Why I love that transition. That transition is such a clever one. So, like, what happens is they go to Grimmauld Place, and then obviously, and so then obviously they go to the Forest of Dean because, like, they can't bring Yaxley in, right? And if you watch it, there's like this stretching noise that happens, and then all the trees stretch up to the white sky, and it looks like veins.
Yeah.
Because he gets splinched. And I think that's such a really clever visual transition.
My only problem with the splinching is that this is the first time we've heard about splinching in the entire movie series.
Yeah, that's right. So you don't know, if you haven't seen it, you don't know what it is.
Yeah. And then begins what some people would say is the most tedious part of the film, because this is when there's a lot of camping, there's a lot of quiet moments, a lot of them kind of just setting up protection spells and trying to like figure it out. But it's really necessary, and I actually think that this is some of Rupert Grint's best acting. Like the frustration of Ron and like Ron getting angry. Like it's like this is very much how it is in the book. Like Ron is like, I'm Harry's best friend, so I'm going to do this. But I also thought that like we'd have this wrapped up quicker. Like because why didn't Dumbledore tell you more things to do? Like why aren't you a better wizard? That sort of thing.
And he's used to the luxuries of home and not being hungry all the time. Like Harry's used to being hungry all the time because he lived with the Dursleys where he was starved.
Yeah. But so I like all of that, and then obviously Ron runs off, and then we have
that building. Also, that use of sound is really good as well. So, like, I really like that high pitched noise of the Horcrux. You don't realize it's building until the Horcrux comes off. I think that's very clever.
And this feels like very reminiscent of Frodo and the Ring for me. Like it's very similar.
I just want to talk about a frustration that I have though.
Sure.
Because the tent is the same tent that's from
Goblet of Fire.
It's Perkins' tent. And, like, it's got nothing in it.
Mm.
And I know, like, you want to sort of show that Harry, Ron, and Hermione are, like, bored all the time, every day, because there's nothing to do except figure out how to get rid of this Horcrux and everything, and you want to show like their isolation and desolation and all this kind of stuff like that. But I'm like, there could be a fucking couch.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There could be a couch with some cushions on it.
Mm.
Or there could be like some really old drab blankets. But once again, no color.
Mm.
It's like there is a bench that has like nothing on it. The bed has a blanket the same color as the tent flaps.
Yeah.
Like, there's got to be fucking something in there.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, when we saw it in Goblet of Fire, it had stuff in it.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I don't know. Like, that it's those little things that make me feel like the movies are devoid of joy. They're devoid of, like, just the little things that make it magic. Little thing, like, even if you're camping for 7 months in the forests, like, you'd still have little quirky,
Bring a
weird
board
things,
game,
you
like...
know, in the tent.
Yeah.
At least that's what I think.
No, for sure, I get it. And then once Ron leaves, it does pick up a bit again, because then we have Godric's Hollow.
Yeah.
And I think the Bathilda Bagshot stuff is really good. Really,
yeah,
really
that's
creepy.
really creepy.
Yeah.
Really creepy. And, like, the whole, like, Hermione going into this door while Harry's following Bathilda upstairs. And, like, the flies and everything, and, like, this splatter of blood and stuff like that. And that whole scene with, like, the snake writhing around, I think that's really good.
Yeah, I would say it's probably some of the scariest stuff from the franchise. Like, going back, like, yeah, I'd say probably some of the scariest stuff they've done in the movies.
It would have been nice to see the statue that changes in Godric's Hollow.
Yeah.
Like, the one of James Lily and baby Harry.
Yeah. Yeah, that would have been good.
Or the sign that comes up.
Yeah.
Remember how there's a sign that comes up in front of the house and it says, "We believe in you, Harry, and you can do it, and Ron was here," and all that sort of stuff like that.
I've forgotten about that, but...
That's in the book.
Yeah,
it's not in the movie.
And then where do they go from there? Do they go back to the forest? And then the doe
appears.
The doe appears, and that leads to Godric's sword.
Yeah.
The sword of Gryffindor.
And then we got the huge smoke Voldemort coming out
of the locket.
Yeah.
And there's like Harry and Hermione naked.
Kissing, naked kissing and all that sort of stuff like that. That's risque, isn't it?
I remember you were like, man, remember when somebody went for that kiss, didn't she?
Yeah. Well, that's what they said. Like, she said, David Yates was like, "Go for it." So she was like, "All right, I'll go for it. I suppose I'll go for it," sort of thing. That whole special effects scene is really cool.
Yeah, I really like that.
I really like that smoke, and I like how it's like black tar and all those spiders come out.
Yeah.
And they try and get Ron.
Well, that's it, because like the Horcrux is defending itself, and it's going for all of Ron's fears, almost like a boggart. So like the idea of Harry and Hermione being together, and like the spiders coming, that's all really cool. And I like how Ron's just kind of like, "Yeah, I'm back." Like, he's as if nothing happens.
Yeah.
Have we been to... Did we skip over Xenophilius' house? Or is that now?
No, this is now.
Because then we get what is the most striking moment, I would say, in any Harry Potter film, and that's the idea to do an animated sequence telling the Peveril story, which is great. Love all of that. And they also did that in the Lego game, which is really fun as well.
Yeah.
To tell the story of the Deathly Hallows, which I like. That to me is one of my favorite sequences out of any of these movies. And I remember when we came out at the theater, like, that was the thing I was talking about. I'm like, what a great idea! What a cool moment!
Yeah. It was beautifully animated.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Really beautifully animated.
And I don't think I don't know if it's revealed in this movie or if it's revealed in this part 2, but like, obviously the Deathly Hallows are the Elder Wand, the Resurrection Stone, and the Invisibility Cloak. The Invisibility Cloak is Harry's invisibility cloak. The Elder Wand was Dumbledore's wand. the resurrection stone is inside the snitch. It's not the snitch itself. Is that right?
It's inside the snitch, and it was the ring. It was Gaunt, Marvolo Gaunt's ring.
Yeah. Okay. Because I remember, like, when they were talking about the resurrection stone, I was like, "Oh, is it the philosopher's stone from the first book?" But that got destroyed, didn't it? Like, and I was like, when I first read the book, I was like, "That's a cool shout out to get back to book one." And like, but no, it was just a stone that we had been introduced in the sixth book.
Yeah.
And then they get caught by snatchers. Is that right?
Yes, that's exactly right.
And there's that moment. It was like this. Then there's the scene.
They expand Harry's face, and I'm like, you can still tell it's Harry Potter.
Yeah, but there's the scene where they're running through the woods, and that was the poster. And the DVD of them running through the woods, that was the poster they used. But they get caught by the Snatchers, and the Snatchers take them back to Malfoy Manor, and then we see Wormtail and Ollivander and Dobby.
Yeah.
Have we covered the Grindelwald stuff? Is that in this movie as well? Because
it is in this movie. But like it's only like little flashes of Voldemort going, "Who is he, Gregorovich? Tell me who the thief was."
Because Voldemort's basically looking for the most powerful wand in the world. He wants something that can even be, because his wands keep breaking. He keeps stealing he keeps using other wizards' wands because he wants to be able to beat Harry, because he thinks the key to beating Harry is having the strongest wand in the world. But it's not that. He doesn't realize that that's not what it is. But he keeps losing to Harry because his wand keeps shattering.
Yeah.
And that's because he's not the rightful owner of the wands he's using. Is that right?
No, that's exactly right. Yeah.
That's the thing. And I understand why they don't go into it in the movies, but in the book, there's this whole ongoing thread about wand lore and like how wands work, and how like in order to be the true master of a wand, it has to be one that either you was assigned to you, like the one that chose you, or you have to win it in a duel.
But this is the thing that I don't understand, because if you win it in a duel, because the way that Harry wins the Elder Wand is in this scene. So he literally he's in Malfoy Manor, Draco's holding Draco's wand.
Yeah.
And Draco doesn't realize that the Elder Wand actually belongs to him.
Yeah.
Because he's the one who disarmed
Dumbledore,
right? So even though Draco doesn't actually physically own the Elder Wand, its allegiance is to Draco. So then Harry, while he's in the Malfoy Manor, pulls Draco's wand out of his hands, steals Draco's wands off him, as well as Bellatrix and somebody else's. And by stealing, physically snatching Draco's wand out of his hand, the allegiance of the Elder Wand then changes to Harry. So I don't know if it's that all wands have the same level of ease of allegiance change, or sometimes other wands, some wands might change allegiance easily, some wands might not. But then what the fuck is how like I can just go up to you and just steal your wand and go, "That's my wand now." That's this is totally my hat now. This is my hat. It's totally my hat. Do you know what I mean?
Is that Hot Rod?
That's Hot Rod.
Yeah.
Like that's what he says.
Yeah, no, I know.
But this is what I'm saying. Like you're at a school with teenagers who, even though they're not supposed to be using magic in the hallways, are totally going to be Expelliarmusing each other every second of the day.
Well, I think it's like, and I don't know, like, and I'm kind of making something go on, but I think intent has something to do with it as well. Like, there's a difference between, like, hey, we're having a friendly spar, we're practicing with our wands. Like, because at the end of it, like, when they're doing that at school, like, even, like, with the Dumbledore's army stuff, Harry's not like, "I'm going to teach you how to disarm, and by the way, all your wands are mine now."
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't take it from them. He allows them to collect it again. So, this is actually part of the books that I'm really fascinated in, is the whole idea of wand lore. I think, like, J.K. Rowling's got some really interesting ideas there. I would actually like to read more about it. Harry Potter and the Encyclopedia of Wand Lore.
Yeah.
Like, for sure. But yeah, anyway, we kind of got a bit of a tangent there, but I can't remember where we were. Oh yeah, like we're talking about the
You
older
think
ones.
it's you think it's got you don't no you didn't complete that thought.
Yeah,
You don't think it has to do with you think it's got to do with intent.
yeah, I think intent has something to do with it, and like with the elder wand, I wonder whether it was easily swayed because whilst Draco won it, he never took it, and so he never claimed physical ownership of it. So whilst the allegiance swapped, it was never like Draco was using it, practicing with it. Like it was just cast aside and then buried with the previous owner, which was
Yeah.
Dumbledore, and so therefore it didn't have that strong allegiance to Draco because it was never truly
I
Draco's
just think
wand.
it's a very easy cop out thing.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's a very like you just have to assume that most people in their lives are not going to be disarmed and therefore your wand is going to belong to you.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of like, I don't think that, like, that's not the case that we're seeing from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
In Harry Potter, people are getting disarmed literally all the fucking time.
Yeah.
So I always sort of like didn't really like the whole wand disarming rule.
I think it's very convenient.
Yes, I think it's very convenient.
And I think like J.K. Rowling did her best to try and explain how it works, but yeah, I still like it. I'm still interested in it. I would like to know more about it. And one of the problems I have with the movies, particularly the Fantastic Beasts movies, is that they start to ignore the rules set up in the books.
Yes.
And that's why like it gets a little bit frustrating. So I'd like to know the rules and if we're going to follow the rules. In this
movie. Exactly.
But that whole sequence is pretty cool. Obviously, Dobby starts transporting people out to Shell Cottage. And then, of course, Griphook's there as well, what you mentioned.
Yeah.
And why is Griphook there?
He got kidnapped.
He got kidnapped because Bellatrix was concerned about her vault.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Which is home to a Horcrux. I was saying the Sword of Gryffindor, but no, they found that in the lake.
Yeah.
Which was placed there by Snape. Spoiler alert. And then they have like a bit of a mini duel, and then they escape, but not before Bellatrix Lestrange throws a knife through the portal, killing Dobby. In a pretty... What are you looking at?
Nothing.
I thought you were like...
looking at you.
I thought you were like, that's not right. I'm like, yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the look on your face was like, have you seen Harry Potter?
No, the look on my face is like, you're just retelling the story.
Well, no, just, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, as I say, it leads to quite an emotional scene. And I think that actually, considering Dobby's not in as many movies as it should be, I think they do quite a good job.
Oh, my God. I cry every time.
Yeah.
Every time. And every time I'm like, I'm not going to cry. I've seen it so many times. Well, I'm not going to cry. Like, I'm tough now.
Mm.
No. Every time. Like, do you know why? Because it's the same point every single time.
A lovely day to be with friends.
Yes. What a beautiful place to be with friends. And, like, from the books that, like, it's a one-sided friendship. Like, yes, Harry does like Dobby.
Yeah.
But, like, Dobby is obsessed with Harry.
Yeah.
And, like, really considers Harry to be, like, his best friend.
Yeah.
And Harry's like, oh, look, mate, I like you.
Like, you're
not. Yeah. I'm your best friend, but you're not my best friend. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And just for him to then say that line while he's dying in Harry's arms.
Yeah.
Like, that to me is a dagger in my heart.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, but Harry didn't like you the same level that you liked him.
Yeah.
And just like, he's just so innocent in his arms, and it's like, it's silent. And it's, oh my God, just every time. And just the way he stands there before he collapses. Oh my God, I'm going to start crying. I'm actually going to start crying. Like, oh my God, poor Dobby. He didn't deserve that.
Yeah.
He didn't deserve that at all.
And then the flick ends with obviously Voldemort getting the Elder One, which I think is the right spot to end it.
Yes.
Like you were saying before, like you were like, where are they going to cut it? Like, how's it going to end? I don't know where else you do end that. Like, there are other places you could, but like, that feels like the perfect spot.
Yeah.
So, like, he now has what he believes is the tools to win the war. We've pretty much only got battle stuff to go now.
Yeah.
Which is really good. So yeah, that's part one, and I really like part one. I think of the David Yates ones we've talked about so far, I think it's my favorite. Look, I think I like it more. I definitely like it more than Half Blood Prince. I think I like it more than Order of the Phoenix as well.
I think I can't tell if I like part one or part two more.
Mm.
I think I.
Well, we haven't talked about part two,
Yeah,
which is why I didn't include it.
Yeah.
But I think of the three products, so I think like for me, it probably goes part two, part one, Phoenix, Prince.
Yeah.
If I'm talking about the Yates ones exclusively.
I think so too. I think that's the same for me as well.
So we get to part two. Not too many new characters, obviously, continue the story from beforehand. We get a second look at Aberforth. Aberforth is in Goblet of Fire, but I think it's a different actor. It's
it is. Yeah.
Kieran Hines, who was Mance Rayder, the King in the North, in Game of Thrones. Also the voice of Steppenwolf in Justice League.
Yeah.
But I think that's about it. I think everyone... We get a couple of returning characters. We get Professor Sprout back.
We get all of the Hogwarts students back and everything.
All the Hogwarts students back.
Like Neville's back and Seamus is back. Like they're all back. Everybody's back.
Everyone's back.
Everyone's back.
Dinosaur story.
It's Battle of Hogwarts. Literally every single person's in the Battle of Hogwarts.
But we hadn't seen Professor Sprout since Chamber of Secrets. So that film had come out like 10 years earlier. So like
we saw her sitting at the table and that's about it.
I feel like in other movies it was probably not Miriam Margolyes. We're like, just put this wig on. You look like Miriam.
No, it was Miriam Margolyes. Of course it was Miriam Margolyes.
In other movies?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. They're not going to fucking cast somebody else.
Well, no, because it's not a speaking role. They could just get an extra in a wig. Like, it's going to be like from behind or from the side.
They shoot on the table in the Great Hall.
I have to go look. I know we watched them earlier this year. I have to go look again. All right. Pretty much is only action this film, which I like.
We start off by getting into Gringotts.
I love the whole sequence.
Yeah.
I love Helena Bonham Carter pretending to be Hermione, pretending to be they're like, it's being too nice.
Yeah.
Like that whole sequence. So I love all that. I love the cart breaking, or like them getting dropped out of the cart. And then they have to get around the dragon with the shaker.
Yeah, that poor dragon. You know, it's like all white and I mean, I know that's the way it is in the book as well.
Now the Bellatrix vault scene, I do like, but it's toned down quite a bit.
Yeah.
Because in the book, it's pretty... I would say it's the most violent thing in any of the books.
Well, they talk because they in the books, all the gold that gets duplicated burns as well. So they get covered in burns and blisters. Whereas this is just kind of like they're just drowning in a sea of gold.
And I understand why. Because this is a kids' franchise. And whilst the films have got progressively darker and more moody and more violent and scary and stuff like that, you can't have like children go to a movie and everyone get burnt by these coins. But so I understand why, and I wasn't too disappointed by that when I saw. I was like, I get it. However, if you're doing this TV show now, maybe let's put it in. Like let's just bring a little bit of harm to our character, just so we could.
It's HBO.
Yeah. The dragon escape, I think, is great.
Oh, I love it when that dragon is standing on top and it's just breathing. It's breathing in the fresh air.
Like, it's such a great way. I mean, I know that technically the movie starts with them at Shell Cottage and, like, Gryffindor being like, you're buried by hands. Like, that was I do like that, but the film really starts with the Gringotts stuff. And I think it's the perfect way to start that film. I love it. And then it's pretty much, I know they have to sneak into Hogsmeade, and there's like all the
Catterwall and Charm.
Yeah, I can't remember half the things. Like there's that brief thing, but like just seeing Neville and Luna show up through the painting.
Yeah.
And the painting is Ariana, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
I love all that. I love his return to the Gryffindor common room or whatever it is.
And then it plays
it's so good.
Yeah, we haven't heard it for such a long time. Like, you don't realise that you haven't heard it for such a long time until it kicks in again. You're like, Harry's back.
Yeah, like that's really good. I love the whole assembly, like in the middle of the night, and like the Death Eaters are there, and like they're like, there's a rumor that Harry Potter's around. Like, you can find him turn around.
Now, here's the interesting thing. So, like, when you watch it and Voldemort's talking and everybody's like, oh, my head. Oh, my head, it hurts.
Yeah.
Like, what are your thoughts on that choice?
Well, my feeling is I don't think he's done sonorous. I think he's like talking into their minds.
Yes.
And because he's so evil and so cruel and probably being quite loud as well, I think it's just painful for everyone.
Yes.
So that's what I look that there's probably a couple of people in there probably overdoing it.
I had to act that out on stage in puffs. And it was hard, man.
Yeah.
It was hard to constantly be like, oh, my head hurts for like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
While Voldemort's doing his speech, and I was just like, I really don't like this scene in the movie. Like, I really don't like these weird, like, sideways zoom ups to people's faces, and they're like, I'm like,
I really love the whole Snape McGonagall confronting Snape thing.
Yeah, that's
and then
good.
Harry comes out and defends her. Like, because that's a great moment in the books as well. Like, that whole scene is really good. I love all that. There's the whole they don't lean into it quite as much as they do in the book, but the whole idea of like Slytherin have to question their allegiance to Hogwarts, like they kind of touch on it a little bit in the movie, but in the book I think they kind of lean into it more, and I really like that. And then I'm trying to think what happens next. And then they start looking for the Horcruxes, and Ron and Hermione have to go like get the Basilisk Fang.
Yeah.
And Harry has to go like find the diadem and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I feel I'm jumping around a bit, but like that's kind of
no, because at this point in time the movie does jump around.
Yeah.
Because you've also got at the same time like McGonagall does the spell.
I've always wanted to do that spell.
Yeah. But that's the first time we've ever seen those knights.
Yeah.
We've never seen those knights before. They've never been anywhere.
It is really cool though.
It is really cool.
Yeah.
But I would have liked to have seen all the knights from the plinths around the school, because that's what's supposed to happen. The knights from the plinths around the school come alive, and then they all walk downstairs. That would have been a cool scene to see as well. So those ones drop down, but also others like knights come up.
And this Professor Sprout.
You know what else would have been cool? And I'm just making this up now. You know how like, especially in the first two movies, there's the plinths that have the owls and it has the little H, and then you'll have fire coming from the top of it. They'll just be in like the corners of corridors and stuff. Wouldn't it be cool if like those owls came alive and like
dropping fire on people?
Yeah, or something, or like pecking apart like the Death Eaters and
what
stuff.
about from the game The Flying Warthog?
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
Now I can't remember. In the book, I feel like Professor Sprout has got like a bunch of venomous tentacular and stuff like that.
Yeah, she's like dropping them like bombs.
Yeah, but they don't do that in the movie, do they?
No,
that's not that. That's a shame. Yeah, that's a shame.
There's plenty of stuff because in the books, I think the battle is more. It's definitely more jovial.
Yeah,
it's definitely like you'll have moments where someone's running past, going, "Attack!" and it's a funny thing that's chasing them
in the book.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, whereas in the movie, it's very much like death and destruction,
which I actually think is the right choice.
I think it's the right choice as well. But I think you could have maybe then it would make it too comical. You could have a pocket here or two.
There's only one moment in the Battle of Hogwarts
because like Professor Trelawney's like dropping crystal balls on people's heads and things like that. You know what I mean?
There's only one moment from the Battle of Hogwarts we all wanted.
It's the house elves?
No.
Oh.
And we got it. And that's when Molly says to Bellatrix, "Get away from my daughter, you bitch."
I really don't like the spell she casts, though. The way Bellatrix dies by being sucked in and then burst into a million things. I suppose it's because they can't kill using the killing curse.
I just think the line is what we all wanted. Like, because it's the only time in the book that anyone curses, and you're like, "Oh my god,
God, you said that!"
What a great! But also, like, it's such an un-Molly. Like, it's very Molly, but also not.
Yeah.
Like, it's very Molly to be protective of her family, but to So I was like, I remember being like, they won't put the movie. There's no way. So when it happens, you're like, yes, what a great moment.
Yeah.
And that's the only comedic bit I know. I'm like, that's the funny moment. Um, we didn't really talk about, but like them putting the spell, like the spell up to protect the castle.
Yeah.
Like that's. I remember when we saw the poster because that was the poster was like Hogwarts with this dome over it, and it was like kind of like crackling and stuff. I was like, what's that? Like, what is that meant to be? And then like obviously it's the protection spell. I think it's a really cool scene. I love all that. And doesn't it like doesn't it like kind of turn people into like ash like when they run through it?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So when Neville's on the bridge and like the snatches are coming through and like turns to ash, it's like, oh yeah, you and what are we?
Yeah, and then it falls.
Yeah. It's like, oh shit.
That's a good moment of levity. And they're like trying to blow up the bridge, the
that's
dynamite
right.
or whatever. Or was it maybe the dynamite's from the Lego game? Maybe they're not actually using dynamite in the...
Oh, like they're using some sort of pyrotechnic explosives because McGonagall tells Seamus to do it.
Which to me is like incendio.
Yeah.
Like you have magic.
Yeah.
Why are you using pyrotechnic?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Or maybe McGonagall was like, it's Neville, we can't trust him with a wand. We'll have to give him the muggle way.
That spiders, all the acromantulas, that really gets me every time. I'm like, every time I see it, just the sound, sound just makes me go.
And there's some giants, which is cool, but also I feel like, and again, it's definitely done more in the books, but it is mentioned in the movies a couple of times where like Dumbledore really wanted the giants on their side to help with the battle.
Yeah.
And then Voldemort got them. So you're like, oh, the giants must have like a pretty big role to play. And like you just see them walk through, and that's it. I'm like,
here's a question that we always have this. We've had this discussion many times, and I'd like the listeners to sort of like wonder about this as well. When the acromantulas come, are they on the side of Hogwarts?
I don't believe
or are they on the side of the Death Eaters?
I think they're on the Death Eaters side.
Yeah, because it's kind of like they belong in the Hogwarts grounds, and the Hogwarts grounds is their home. So are they defending their home?
Yeah, but remember,
because
like
they are evil creatures, spiders.
No, they're on Voldemort's because isn't there a scene? I think it's in the book. Like Harry talks to one, like the son of Aragog.
Yeah,
and is like, my father is dead. Like we have no allegiance anymore. Like Aragog had a relationship with Dumbledore and with Hagrid.
Yeah.
And so like, there was a piece there, but with Aragog gone, that piece is gone as well. So I think they sided with the Dark Wizards.
Right, yeah.
That's my feeling.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a conversation where someone talks to Aragog's son, and he mentions that, like, with my father dead, like, yeah. So yeah, I think they're bad guys, as our daughter would say.
Yeah. And I was very surprised at the eating of Lavender Brown.
Wait, what?
Like Fenrir, there's a very quick scene of Fenrir Greyback, like feeding on Lavender Brown's corpse.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and then Hermione's like, no, and then like fights, like does a spell towards Fenrir Greyback, and he sort of scarpers off, sort of thing. And she's like lying there dead, and Lavender Brown dies.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's intense. It's pretty intense.
Yeah. We get our Hermione and Ron kiss scene with the explosion of water.
Yep.
And wasn't like Daniel Radcliffe like making them laugh?
Yeah,
or whatever, like, the whole
and he was like, "Oh, that means you got to do it again."
Yeah.
No, you stuffed it up, so you got to do it again.
Yeah.
And he'd ruin the takes.
And is it? I can't remember. Is it in the book as well? Is like Ron did it based on what he heard Harry doing it? Like in the movie, he's like, "You talk in your sleep." But like in the book, it's a similar thing. It was like,
I just copied what you said,
which is maybe a bigger cop out than one law.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
And then I love the fiend fire sequence.
Yeah, that's pretty intense.
It's really great in the book, and I think they do a pretty good job of it in the movie as well. And you get that moment like. You know, we talked about Draco kind of like in these last few movies really kind of reckoning with, does he want to be a bad guy or is it maybe not all it's cracked up to be? And you see him really notice it in this scene, and you get that redemption, or not that redemption, but kind of like that Harry and Draco putting their differences aside to be like, you know what, let's just survive.
Yeah.
And it's enough. Like they don't have to be friends, but they now have like this kind of respect for each other enough with like, you know what, this is what's going to be bigger than the two of us.
Yeah.
So let's just get through it, which I think is really well done.
You know what I really like about that Fiendfire scene? Is I really like how Goyle can't put the fire out with his wand. So, like, he's got his wand right and he's cast Fiendfire. And then he's, like, shaking it to try and, like, stop the spell. And every time he shakes it, more fire creatures come out of his wand, and then he eventually just, like, chucks his wand away sort of thing. But, like, I love that. Like, he's like, shit. Oh, fuck, I can't fix this now.
I always liked that name as well, Fiendfire. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
Again, only introduced in the final book, but I was okay with it.
And again, very convenient that Fiendfire destroys Horcruxes.
Well, it's meant to be quite dark magic, isn't it? Like, very powerful
It's
magic.
very uncontrollable magic.
Yeah.
Like, Hermione's like, there's no way in a million years I'd ever cast it because it's so difficult to control.
Yeah. And they don't, like, it's, again, they don't really linger on it in the movie, but, like, it ends up killing Crabbe and Goyle, doesn't it, the Fiendfire?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, like, they die from the Fiendfire.
Yeah.
And they do in the movie as well, I'm pretty sure, but, like, they don't really talk about it. In the book, like, there is, like, a moment where, like, oh my god, like, Crabbe and Goyle are dead.
Crabbe and Goyle are dead, that's
like,
exactly right.
we turned into them 5 years ago when they had cupcakes, and now...
And that's the thing, and Ron's really mean about it, because Draco is there at the door, like, the door is shut now, and Draco's, like, crying out for Crabbe and Goyle, and Ron's like, they're dead.
Yeah.
Fuck off. And then leaves. Can we also draw attention to one of... I really don't like this bit.
Okay.
The conversation between Harry and Rowena Ravenclaw.
Who should have been...
Rowena Ravenclaw's daughter.
Yeah. The Grey Lady?
Grey Lady, yeah.
Okay, she's played by, I think, the lady... I can't remember her name now, but she was in Trainspotting, I'm pretty sure. Like Kelly Riley. No, it's not Kelly Riley, but something like that. When I saw that, I'm like, oh, could have been Kate Winslet. Get one more, like, big British actress in there.
The ghost effect that they've done for the last few movies, I feel like isn't as good as the ghost effect that was in the first two. It's the Bloody Baron. Yeah, Bloody Baron's not happy, okay.
It took me until right now to realize that all the ghosts, like all the ghosts of the houses have alliterative names. It's Nearly Headless Nick, Great Bloody Baron, Fat Friar. Like,
Grey Lady doesn't.
No. Did Stan Lee create these characters?
Yeah. But the thing that I hate is, remember, like, she zooms in. She all of a sudden gets really huge head when she says the line of, I know who he is. I know what he's done. Do you remember that? She yells at Harry.
Yeah.
And her head goes really big for some reason.
I don't remember.
Have you noticed that?
No, I have to watch it again.
Oh, I see it every time and it drives me nuts. I'm like, why is her head big?
Yeah.
Why did they make that stylistic choice of, like, zooming her head in?
Doesn't Peeves also cause, like, a bunch of problems with the Death Eaters in the book? I feel like Peeves...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like, again, like, would have been great if we had Peeves in these movies.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'll be honest, I don't need Peeves in all the movies.
No.
Like, give Peeves the Dobby role. Just chuck him in a couple of movies.
Yeah, that's right. Every once in a while you go, oh, yeah, it's Peeves again.
Look, I think, like...
Give him the Marion Margolyes.
Yeah.
Where he's just an extra with a wig on for scenes in the background.
But yeah. I don't remember the big head, but I'll keep an eye out for it.
It's weird. It looks really weird.
And then we get Harry talking to ghosts because he goes to head... well, I guess at this point we're pretty much... All the Horcruxes have been destroyed except for Nagini and Harry. Is that right?
Yeah.
How do you feel about the open to close sequence with all the ghosts? Like with all the...
Wait, you've missed an entire section.
Have I?
Yeah, Snape's dying.
Oh, yeah.
And the pensive and everything.
I remember the pensive. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So me and Mum were having... This is what me and Mum were talking about over the weekend or over the last few days because, yeah, she said that she was rewatching it. She says her favourite scene is Snape's death and the whole, like, redemption of Snape and the arc and all that sort of stuff like that. And I was saying the best acting that I've seen Daniel Radcliffe do in these movies is when he comes out of that pensive, realising that he has to die, that is some of the most beautiful acting I've ever seen Daniel Radcliffe do. Like the look on his face, the little stumble back, the realization that him sitting there and then coming to terms with it is just beautiful. He's such a good actor. Such a good actor. And when I saw him perform that scene, I was just completely 100% bought it.
Yeah.
And what's so impressive is that he's just, all he's done is looking down and looking up. Like, he hasn't come out of the pensive because he's acting. It's not there. It's not real. And so he's just looking down and then looking up. And it just, you 100% read it on his face. And so I just want to give, like, absolute props to Daniel Radcliffe in that scene, because he's so good in that scene. And that whole pensive bit with, like, the way it's intercut with Snape going up the stairs, and then it'll have little scenes of, like, Snape and Lily meeting, and then Snape walking up the stairs again to Lily's dead body, and then Snape and Dumbledore having conversations, and then Snape walking up to the stairs again. And you just, like, see baby Harry crying in the crib, and, like, Snape is just completely ignoring baby Harry and just cradling Lily in his arms. Oh, it's so upsetting. I really feel for baby Harry in that scene. His mummy's just died. His mummy's just died, and he's seeing his dead mummy on the floor. And, like, nobody's coming to comfort baby Harry.
Yeah.
You know, how upsetting is that? So that whole, like, pensive bit is just like, and the Snape, the sound of Snape dying. So the sound of Nagini attacking Snape.
Yeah.
And you just hear his body hitting the wall.
Yeah.
Multiple times, and you're just getting this perspective from Harry. And you just hear this of, like, hitting the wall, and you're like, oh my God, like, it's sickening. It sounds so sickening.
And I think that the most heartbreaking part of, or the most crushing part of Snape's death is he didn't have to die.
Yeah.
Like Dumbledore, like that, and like it shows like the arrogance of Voldemort. Like Voldemort was like, Snape killed Dumbledore, therefore he has the Elder Wand, but Snape never possessed the Elder Wand because Draco, as we talked about before, Draco disarmed him beforehand, so Snape didn't need to die. Just like Sirius didn't need to die.
Yeah,
like,
that's right.
If Voldemort just like stepped back,
thought about it for one fucking second.
Yeah, absolutely. So then we get to the open and the close. Sorry. Good catch. Yeah. A pretty important moment.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that sequence?
I think I would have liked it to have lasted a bit longer. Again, I'm really not liking the way that the ghosts look.
Yeah.
They look a little too airbrushed to me.
Well, these aren't meant to be ghosts, are they?
No, but like they're like the Grey Lady.
Yeah.
Just a little too airbrushed.
With their big heads.
Their big heads.
And who do we see? We get James and Lily, obviously. We get Sirius.
And Remus.
That's right, and Remus as well. Are there more in the book?
No.
Okay.
It's just them.
And is Remus a surprise? Does Harry know that Remus is dead at this point? I'm trying to remember.
I can't remember. I think Harry's like, I think Harry is surprised, and then he's like, I'm so sorry, your son.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's okay. He'll grow up knowing that his parents fought for the world for him to live in and all this kind of stuff like that. I would have liked that scene to be a little bit longer because Harry has this moment with his mum. Oh my God, I'm going to start crying again. And he's just like, I love you, mum, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? And you know, he's like, does it hurt? And Sirius has his line of, you know, quicker than falling asleep and all that sort of stuff like that. But I kind of feel like in the books, Harry doesn't even, like, Harry's like, yep, Dad's here, yep, Sirius is here, but he's like, it's my mum. All I want to do is hug my mum, and my mum's here. And in the movie, it's kind of like not like that. It's like he reaches out to her and she's like, well, I love you. We'll be here.
Yeah, we'll stay with you to the end. That's the thing.
And that's it. Do you know what I mean? And, like, they actually walk him down. Like, they walk him down and they surround him while Voldemort is there.
Yeah.
Whereas in the movie, that doesn't happen. Literally, like, the next scene, Harry's by himself.
It's funny. It's interesting, like, there's some similarities, and I'm not saying, like, anyone copied anyone, but, like, the whole idea of, like, we'll be with you to the end or whatever, like, we'll be there with you when it happens. I just rewatched Infinity War, and there's that moment at the end where Scarlet Witch has to kill Vision.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's okay, like, all I feel is you. And it feels very much parallel, like, it's a very kind of, like, you have to walk me to my death, like, but, like, it'll just be us, and it doesn't matter about the evil force out. Like, I don't know, it's just, I feel like there's some very interesting parallels there. And then, Voldemort does his big Avada Kedavra.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why, like, I find, like, the cinematic version of Voldemort silly. And not all,
because he's such a big character.
he's very big, yeah. Like, as Ray,
very dramatic.
Like, like, whereas, like, yeah, like,
as opposed to just like Avada Kedavra.
Like, in the
fuck you.
Like, in the book, it's almost like a hiss.
Yeah.
It's like, which I don't mind. I'm not saying it's wrong, but, like, there are moments. But that one in particular, I'm like, I guess, like, because he's finally going to do what he's been trying to do.
Well, even as he flakes apart, he's like,
yeah. Speaking of which, Thanos also flakes apart. So
Yeah.
another similarity there. I love the King's Cross sequence.
Yeah.
I really like it. I like, and again, like, it's been a while since I've read the book. I like that it's not too busy. It's very, like, it's just a hint of King's Cross. I love the twist.
Dead baby under dead Voldemort baby.
Yeah. And I know I saw a video recently where Michael Gambon came out and said that, like, his favorite scene to shoot in all the movies was that scene with Harry.
Yeah.
I think it's great. Like, it's a lovely, like, close to their relationship. Like, Harry finally gets to kind of say goodbye to Dumbledore.
Yeah, understand everything.
Yeah. And the idea that, like, just because it's in your head doesn't mean it's not real. And, like, death is the next adventure, but he kind of has the choice to keep living. I like all that.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah. And so Harry comes back.
Harry comes back. In another great moment, like, I loved, like, the idea of, like, we're going to humiliate the half giant. Like, he's in chains and he has to carry this boy. Like, and that Harry, and again, it's done. The suspense is built so well in the book, where, like, Harry can't even let Hagrid. He has to pretend that he's dead. He can't let anyone know that he's alive. And that whole final, like, standoff before the actual fight of, like, all the students and teachers opposite the Death Eaters is such a great moment. Like, just visually, it's so good. Like, Hogwarts is falling apart.
Yeah. According to Tom Felton's autobiography, he wrote that every single time Ray Fiennes delivered that speech, it was a little bit different every single time. And so when Draco comes up to him, Ray Fiennes did something different every single time. And then the one where he did the hug thing is the one that got in.
The hug one is so funny.
Yeah, it's so good.
I mean,
it's such a weird. It's the little pat.
Yeah,
it's the little pat on the shoulder. That's just like that's what gets you. And it's like a hover hand hug as well. It's not a full.
Well, because he doesn't know love.
He doesn't know how to hug.
Yeah.
So no, the hug is brilliant. The hug is absolutely like spot, and everybody's face is like, "What the fuck is he doing?"
Yeah,
like he's just murdered half of us, and now he's hugging Draco. What the fuck is he doing?
And has Nagini been killed at this stage?
No, she's just about to.
That's right. I couldn't remember if it was on the steps
because Neville does his speech.
Yeah,
that everybody laughs at, like all the Death Eaters laugh at. Voldemort laughs at.
It's a great Neville moment.
It is a really great Neville moment, and then he brings out the sword. And then Harry drops at the same time. And then Nagini comes and he slices Nagini's head off. And
they don't talk. That's never addressed in the movies, to the best of my knowledge. And you'll correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's mentioned in the books, though, that the prophecy they're looking for, that Voldemort's looking for in the 5th movie, is to find out, like, who's the because he's chosen. He chose Harry Potter as his rival, or whatever. Like, he knew that someone born at the end of July.
It could have been Neville.
And that's the whole thing. Like, Neville was it could have been very easily could have been Neville Longbottom in the Chamber of Secrets.
Yes.
But because Neville was pureblood,
Yeah.
Voldemort didn't choose him.
Yeah.
He chose Harry instead.
Yeah, because he saw a bit of him, like he marked him. That's the thing. It says, he marked him as his equal.
And like because Voldemort's not pure blood, he's half blood. He was like, I can't go up against a pure wizard. It has to be a half blood.
Yeah,
and like just the irony of like you should have chosen the pure blood.
Yeah, you should have chosen Neville.
Like Neville would have defeated you. Is that addressed in the movies, or is that because that's in the books?
No,
and is it in the King's Cross sequence, or is it in the pensive stuff in the book? I feel like it's in.
No, it's in Dumbledore explaining to Harry in Order of the Phoenix, and I think a little bit in Half-Blood Prince and stuff, because Harry goes back to his dormitory. He's lying in bed and he's like listening to Neville's snores, and he's like, fuck, it could have been you.
Yeah.
Like one different thing and it could have been you.
Yeah.
Because it's when Dumbledore sort of explains to Harry about the prophecy and the line of neither can live while the other survives, and Harry's like, great, so if one of us is going to have to kill the other one, basically.
Yeah. And it's funny, like, because in that movie both of them die.
Yeah.
Like, Harry gets killed, but, like, obviously it's the Horcrux part of him that gets killed, and then Dumbledore dies. Not Dumbledore, Voldemort. I keep saying Dumbledore. I keep saying Dumbledore instead of Voldemort because they've got similar sounding names. Yeah. Like it's very the same cadence.
Just call him Voldy. Moldy Voldy.
Moldy Voldy. And then I feel like there's obviously more like Battle of Hogwarts stuff. I think this is what the film kind of drags on a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
And I guess they want to make it visually interesting, but like at this point, it's just because it's.
I would have liked it if they did it like how they did it in the book. Because in the book, it's in the Great Hall, the sun is rising. So the sun is rising, and then it's literally like everybody's standing back, everybody's watching this massive battle. They cast the spells at each other, and then that's it.
It's over.
And then it's over, and then he's dead.
Like that's the thing, like people, like, when you watch the movie, if you haven't read the books, people are like, oh wow, it's really intense scenes going for someone, and then like Voldemort crumbles away. It's like, no, Expelliarmus, done.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing is, like, since day one, like, Harry has only ever used defensive spells against Voldemort. Like, he doesn't use those attacking spells. And something that's not touched on in the movie is that the reason that they're able to figure out who Harry is during the Seven Potters sequence is that they're like, oh, well, he uses Expelliarmus, and Harry always uses it. Always uses
Expelliarmus. But I think the sun rising is really important because it's a metaphor of, like, the sun rising on a new wizarding world, and the way that it hits like the canopy and the Great Hall and all that sort of stuff like that. Whereas I think the fight in the movie, nobody sees it.
Yeah.
Nobody witnesses it because it's all happening while they're flying.
Yeah.
So like you can't be like Harry and Voldemort. I watched that. You can watch the last 3 seconds of it because they all sort of run out in the last 3 seconds of the courtyard.
Like, oh, and then Harry and Voldemort fighting. Go get.
Yeah.
Oh, that was wicked, Harry.
I'm surprised that clip wasn't made in there.
And then, like, Harry's like, I love magic.
Yeah. If he fucking said that, Jesus Christ, if he fucking said that at the end of the movies, breaks the Elder Wand, saps the Elder Wand, it's like, I fucking love magic, and then throws it away.
Let's talk about that. How do you feel about the destruction of the Elder Wand?
I feel like that meme where he breaks it and then it cuts to the scene from Mean Girls where Damien's like, like that. That's how I feel. I'm like, why would you do that? Because you could hold on to it, and then when you die, you have it buried with you. But now, like, people could find the pieces and it can create another tale and blah, 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 blah.
Well, can it be repaired?
I assume it could.
Because and I feel like because they set it up very early on in Chamber of Secrets, like...
Well, Harry wants his own wand back. So he uses, in the book, he uses
the Elder Wand to repair his own wand. But that's a little bit different. He's using the most powerful wand in the world to repair a wand. I think once the Elder Wand's broken, that's it. Because even, like, Ron had to get a new wand.
Yeah.
Like, they set that up very early.
Yeah.
My feeling is, did it have to be destroyed? Because they didn't destroy the invisibility cloak.
But you know what? Also, there is something really satisfying.
Mm.
There is something really satisfying about seeing this thing that has existed for 7 movies
Caused so much bloodshed.
Yeah, and literally just go snap.
Mm.
And,
I agree.
and throw it away.
But
and because the sound of it snapping is so trivial.
Yeah.
It's literally just a snap.
Yeah.
It's not like a big kaboom or anything. Yeah.
Magic.
It's like this thing that's killed so many people, just ding.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, like, is there someone that should have been able to take care of the wand? Like, I'm not use it. Just like with the Mirror of Erised, want it but not use it. Like, obviously you don't give it to the Ministry of Magic. That's a terrible idea. But is there someone? It's like, yes, this person. Like, give it to Arabella Fig. Like, she should have the Elder Wand. Like,
yeah, that's right.
And
like Dobby, but he's dead.
No, do you know what? Like, this is how the movie should have ended. Is like Harry gives it, like, Arabella Fig walks out the Privet Trap. There's a box with the Elder Wand, and she writes the end.
But with a question mark and then the E for
and she
Anderson.
winks.
Oh no, her name starts with A. Arabella, not Arabella. She winks. Yeah, it like does the zoom out, and then zoom out again, and her head pops out of the hole, and she winks, and then it closes again. Just like Looney Tunes.
It's the freeze frame.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anyone else who, like, should have that wand. Like, I'm trying to think, like, can I understand, like, you have to destroy it because there's no one who's, like, whilst the wand itself isn't an evil object, isn't going to corrupt anyone, like, the idea of, although, like, is the Elder Wand even that powerful? Because everyone who has it has been killed.
Yeah.
So, like, and it was, because it's been the most powerful one.
Well, it's kind of like the One Ring. It's like, at the end of the day, it's just a ring, but it's the power within it corrupts people.
Yeah. Because the whole idea of it, like in the Peveril story, is like he wanted a wand that would win any duel.
Yeah.
Which it did, and like the only reason he lost his wand because he was murdered in the night.
Yeah.
But like Dumbledore had it, and it was disarmed by Draco Malfoy. So is it even that powerful a wand, or is it more, or is it like when Harry pretended to put liquid luck in the breakfast, where it's like it gives you the confidence to be a better wizard, but it actually doesn't do anything? Like, because I haven't seen any evidence of doing anything extraordinary in terms of magic.
Yeah, but so that's the other question then, I suppose, as well. So is Dumbledore himself a really powerful wizard, or is he made more powerful because he has this really powerful wand?
When did he get the Elder Wand? Did he get it from Grindelwald?
I'm assuming, yes, he did.
When he defeated Grindelwald.
Yes, and so we have to watch Fantastic Beasts in order to...
But was he a great wizard before Grindelwald?
I think he was a very, very smart wizard.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was great.
Yeah, okay. It's interesting.
Because he was young. He was like 17.
It is interesting, and it does throw a pall on his reputation if it's like he wasn't there. But again, I've seen no evidence of great magic, like, except for Dumbledore doing the cool stuff against Voldemort at the end of Order of the Phoenix.
Yeah.
But Voldemort was doing cool magic, and he just had a regular wand. So I don't know, like, that's one thing I never got.
So maybe Voldemort's better than Dumbledore?
No, I don't think so. I just, like, even in the books, I was like, oh, it's the most powerful one in the world, but you give me no evidence that it is the most powerful one. Like,
it's just that people want... It's the most... I suppose
it's the most desirable one.
Yeah, it's the most coveted wand in the world.
Like, so part of me is like, should we put it in a museum? Or, like, could it be given to Cornelius Fudge? And
don't give it to Fudge.
Well, no, like, I'm just choosing someone trivial. And either way, it makes no difference because it's just a regular wand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it needed to get snapped. I would have liked it to... Or, like, they could have put, like, a statue of Dumbledore in, like, Hogwarts, and, like, the wand is inside the statue. I don't know. They could have done more with it. Give it to Neville. Like, Neville, he's earned it.
He's earned it.
Yeah,
he's
only going to teach herbology, so it's like he's going to do, like, evil herbology. And then you get the 17 years later sequence.
Yeah.
How do you feel about 17 years later? Do you feel like it was necessary? Like, even in the book, be like, oh, good, a bit more. I want to know about the future. Or had you wished it ended with Harry? Like,
I never really thought about that. I suppose it is nice knowing that Harry got his family. Like, that's the whole point. That the whole thing is that the reason that Harry is the way that he is and the choices that he makes is because he just wants to have a family. And so it is nice that by the end of the whole series, he has what he wants. I think that is really...
Until Cursed Child.
Yeah.
Which we're not talking about.
No, that's a whole other thing. So, yeah, no, I do think it's good. I think the hair and makeup is terrible. I mean, as we are 35.
I was going to say, like, we're the same age they're meant to be, and they look awful. Like,
they look awful.
They look like life after Hogwarts. Like, strangely, the 7 years at Hogwarts that had evil every year were less stressful than being adults. And maybe because they never had a chance to learn how to be human beings because they were constantly fighting evil. But, like, it's like, they look awful.
Yeah,
like, they look rough.
They look really bad.
Like,
they're all grey.
And it's not just the saturation. Like,
no.
They look like even Ginny, who's younger, looks awful.
They all look like they're about 55.
Yeah, they don't look great. I don't mind it. I like, honestly, for the book I like it. I think for the movie, and I know people are like, why did you do the 17-minute slow sequence? I think you could have ended with Harry 19 years later. Why you could have just ended with Harry snapping the wand and then walking away, like.
And then the credit says, "Fuck you! I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you! I won't do what you tell me."
Killing in the name of and it's like red and blue like filters over like Voldemort and that.
Yeah. With that, like, half-tone.
Yeah.
Like, dots and
like,
stuff.
I don't know if you remember the closing credits of Iron Man 3, but it's got, like, that funky, just, like, different scenes from Iron Man films. It's like, I can touch you. Anyway. That is a franchise done and dusted.
Yeah.
No pun intended with the dusting of Voldemort.
Yeah. Imagine being one of those students just inhaling all of that as well.
I like to imagine, like, who's the girl who's, like, the number one fan of Voldemort and Cursed Child?
Oh, Delphi.
What if she, like, instead of doing what she did, what if she just, like, did a Mike Wazowski at the end of Monsters, Inc. and was collecting all the different ashes to try and piece him back together? She builds Voldemort back from the ashes. Final thoughts on the franchise?
Oh, look, I mean, like,
we've made a lot of fun of it. We've pulled it apart. We've talked about this, like.
But it's your go-to comfort.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's go-to comfort movie. Like when it's raining outside, when you're sick, when you're, you know, bored. It's your go-to. It's your go-to. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, like for all its flaws and like the problem with any time you try to adapt a book into film, you're gonna lose important details. Yeah. Unfortunately, for us, I think like because we are such big fans and we've read the book so many times, we're noticing a lot of things. And I'm not saying we're the only ones. There are plenty of Harry Potter fans who are noticing as well.
Yeah.
There are some pretty big things missing, which can be disappointing because you're like, I just want to see that on the screen. Like that would, like for me, like I don't want to harp on it too much, but the Half-Blood.
You fucking say Winky more time.
No, the Half-Blood Prince thing.
Yeah.
Like that thing, I'm like, I can't wait to see what this looks like. Seeing like Death Eaters in the castles. We haven't seen that before. I can't wait for that. For them to be like, oh, well, keep waiting because you're never going to see it.
I really wish we had Winky.
I do wish we had Winky. All right, Fran.
I do too.
Fran, the nanny over here.
I do too, but I just feel like you've mentioned it so many times in this episode of the podcast and the last one that we needed to do a drinking game.
I mentioned Winky, I think, once this episode.
No, you've mentioned her at least.
No, because I only touched on the alcoholism thing. Who would, important question, who would you have cast as Winky?
I don't know, Andy Serkis?
No, it's going to be like Prue Leith or something.
Prue Leith? It's just the voice of Winky.
Yeah, because Toby Jones, he's an old man. He played Dobby. Like, you got to get someone who's got like an ear.
Dame Judi Dench. There you go. She's an old lady.
Oh, actually, that's not bad.
Yeah.
That's
No, she's too old. Her voice is too old.
Toby Jones is like in his 80s.
Yeah, but Dame Judi Dench sounds like Dame Judi
That's
Dench.
true.
She doesn't do. I'm making a joke, James.
I know, but like I liked it. I'm trying to think who you go for.
Helen Mirren. She could change her voice.
I know she already plays Trelawney, but Emma Thompson, I think.
Oh, you know what I watched today? I watched this. It wasn't a TikTok. It was a TikTok on Instagram, and it was talking about how like Eartha Kitt sings Santa Baby.
Yeah.
But then Eartha Kitt is also what's her name, Yzma in.
And she's Catwoman in the 60s
Batman.
Batman.
Yeah, I know that. But she's also Yzma in Emperor's New Groove. She could do Winky.
Eartha Kitt.
Is she alive?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Also, she's American, and you want to go UK.
Yeah. You do want to go British, don't you?
You got to go, and we will not end this episode until we've cast Winky accurately.
Oh, what's her name? The other one in Devil's Wears Prada.
Emily Blunt?
Yes, Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt, yeah.
Yeah, Emily Blunt could do it.
You want someone who goes a bit squeaky.
You can do character voices.
It needs to sound a bit magical as well. Wow, what about Nick Owen's favorite actress, the girl who plays the American girl in Love Actually?
Yeah. I think that's perfect casting, James.
Yeah, we're not going to get... Like you said, not in America. I'm like, yeah, but she's in a British film. That is going to do it for this week's episode. That was a lot of fun. We will, at some point, go and do a lot of...
Mel Gedroych. Because she does yes.
The first one sounds like this. Yeah. If you don't know, obviously you have to watch Taskmaster season 4. I think it's season 4. Season 5, maybe. That was a lot of fun. We will be at some point doing the Lord of the Rings films, including Hobbits, I think. We watched the Lord of the Rings films and the Hobbits films this year, so I think we'll do the Hobbit ones as well. Can't wait to talk about those CGI goats on the ice.
Yeah. Oh God, I forgot about that. I erased it from my memory.
It's coming back. And we'll probably do Star Wars. We still haven't finished watching the Star Wars films. Like the last time we recorded this, we're like, I've got one more Star Wars film to go.
Yeah.
We're going to...
Bake Off started.
Yeah.
We had to pause for Bake Off.
That's true. And then there will be some Marvel stuff coming, but that's still in early conversations. But there's more to look forward to. So thank you, everyone, for listeing. Thanks, Tina, for coming back and talking more Potter with me.
I'm more than happy to talk Harry Potter.
Next, we'll do Fantastic Beasts. Just kidding. Thank you for listening. If you want to support the show, jump on Instagram. I was a teenage film snob. _ between every single word. Give me a like, a comment, a follow. If you reach out, I will communicate back. I speak to anyone who reaches out to me. If you want to write a review for the podcast, head over to Spotify or to Apple Podcasts and write something nice or not nice. I don't really mind. Just give us a review. Tell me your top 5 favorite films. I'd love to hear what they are. And if you want to support the show financially, jump onto tpublic.com. If you sign up and you're a brand new customer, you get 20% off your first purchase. You can buy a great I Was a Teenage Film Snob t-shirt designed by our very own Josh Sacco. They're very comfy and they're pretty cheap as well. But that's going to do it. Thanks again to Tina. Thanks for listening. And as we say every single week on this show, I was a teenage film snob, but I'm trying to be better. See you next week. Can't end the episode.